Happy Saturday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Saturday, February 7th, 2026. We are going to get started on today's daily collective read in the next few minutes, but if you would like to get on the list for a personal reading today, the list, as always, is open. As always, it is 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps. Those are pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We're also doing 2 giveaways today. Our first reading giveaway is going to be a reading giveaway when we get to 50K likes, so make sure you're tapping that screen and we will get to 50K in no time. The other reading giveaway we'll be doing today is a reading giveaway for the highest gifter between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read. So I wish you a lot of luck if you're participating in that giveaway as well. Prior to beginning today's daily collective read, I will be giving a brief recap on what we've been seeing in the cards over the last few days. If you would like to find that full reading, you can find it over on the place where we keep the videos. You can also find it over on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find it as a podcast over on my Spot and over on my Stack. But before we begin today, before we proceed, first and foremost, how you doing today? Scale of 1 to 10. There are no wrong answers. February's lit. February's lit. It's lit. There's a lot happening. There's a lot of stuff happening energetically. Some of it positive, some of it negative, some of it depending on how much work you've been doing on yourself. Okay. It's gonna feel a lot. And one of the things I like to describe, and especially when we're about to go into these eclipse cycles, I always like to point this out. I always feel when we go into eclipse season, like the moon, the planetary system, like the moon before the most recent moon that we experience, like going into eclipse season, is almost like a little like it's a little pre-eclipse. It's a little taste in relationality to what we can energetically expect. And I say that to identify that if you went through that Capricorn new moon energy, really feeling like your gears were getting grinded, well, a lot of us were feeling like that. It was very much about digging into the source of vulnerability. But I love the motion that we see between Capricorn new moon in Capricorn season that moves us into Leo in full moon and Aquarius season, that then is then proceeding into, and this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to be talking a lot about this right now, that new moon in Pisces that we have happening, that's kicking off eclipse season. Because what does that talk about, right? When we delve into our most vulnerable places, then that is effectively a gift, because it allows us to be strongest where we feel weakest, right? It's the strength of knowing what is not one's strong suit. And often this is what allows us to have, right? And if you're ever like not sure about whether your ego is in a good space, like that's a little bit of the quality that you can look for to help you identify it, right? Understanding one's own circumstances by which one is working to energetically improve. It's not easy, right? It sometimes can feel very vulnerable. It could be a lot of triggers there. It could be a lot of trauma there, right? Being able to get to the bottom as to why we have vulnerabilities allows us to be able to feel stronger within it. So long as, right? So long as you're willing to do the work to be able to put that force of effort in. That's why I'm going to say it's a very polarizing time right now, because at the same time that we're seeing there's that beautiful ability to work through something in that capacity, it's also a bit of projection central, right? We see this with that Jupiter that's still retrograding in Cancer, right? What does one do when one feels vulnerable? And the hard part is, like, Jupiter in Cancer is all about vulnerability. And when we're too deep in our ego, what happens when we're too vulnerable? We project, right? Project is reject, right? That's basically what we understand. And that's the hard part with projection. Often those who are projecting are in energetic denial about what it is that they themselves have to work upon. So, if you're doing this type of work right now, if you're doing that heavy work and being able to investigate and interrogate the self, if you're doing a lot of that deep diving into the realm of the emotions, well, this is going to be good energy for you. And I have to admit, you know, even though we've got a lot of planets that are in Aquarius right now, and Mercury is also moving into Pisces, um, the planets the planets have are the planets are now synchronized, which is the best way I can describe it, which is like a few days ago they were in a complete jumble. So if you're feeling like this is good energy to organize, right? It's getting ahead of yourself to a certain extent. And I want to stress this right now. Getting ahead of yourself right now is critical because the energy is potentially just going to speed up exponentially as we move closer and closer to that eclipse cycle. And you're probably feeling it. If you're very sensitive to energy right now, you're probably feeling a little bit of that sense of anticipation, right? That like that percolation energy, a little buzz. It is having a different impact too, depending on whether you connect to masculine, feminine, or non-binary energy. Bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. We're going to start with masculine. And I got to stress this right now. And this is just to show, and I'm going to describe this. This might feel like a very, very heavy time for those that are on the journey of healing masculine energy, right? Because what we effectively see that's happening, and it's a conversation in terms of what occurs, how it feels to be on the healing journey, which is often the space by which it feels doubly difficult. Because not only are you trying to do the work to heal the self, but you feel like you're bearing the weight of all of the energy that is not invested in that same level of effort, right? And so I feel like for a lot of the energy of masculine, working through those modalities or experiences, right? Trying to identify and build into that healthy path work. But it almost feels like it creates the space by which, there's that extra burden which potentially, and I want to point this out, it's the extra burden that potentially feels like it's created by other masculine energy that is not invested in doing that work, right? And the energy that makes it feel like the work itself is all the harder because it almost instantaneously makes one feel like one is in hermit mode. So if any of the energy is feeling like this right now, I want to stress this: you are not alone, right? And often the energy of understanding the work that we do, right, requires us to have those modalities of feeling fortified in our solitude, those abilities of understanding how important the work is. I feel like this is a time of masculine that is working through the space of patience, perseverance, and healthy communication that is allowing for the disambiguation between, right, the past versions or the past experiences by which they themselves were not necessarily as healed as they are versus where they find themselves today. But it's not easy, right? And I feel like for a lot of that energy, that ability, like feeling that frustration, right? Feeling the frustration of the additional bared weight to those that are not as invested in the work. This is often creates a space by which we sometimes identify the journey of the masculine that moves towards spirituality and starts developing this sense of anger towards the self. But I need to understand this, and this is what's beautiful about Aquarius season. Aquarius season helps us recognize the difference between disassociation and non-attachment, right? The modality by which we can perceive something that we ourselves revile, that we wish to heal, that allows us to become the energetic ideal. While for feminine energy, this could be a time where there's a lot of a lot of energy that's coming through in relationality to feeling the intensity or holding the space of navigating one's own sacred sense of rage, right? It's understanding that anger, right? And this is what we have to recognize: anger is healthy as long as we are able to articulate what is better, what would be energetically preferable. And this is how we temper our anger, right? It's not just the space by which we have anger, right, that is expressed, because anger that is expressed but not directed is outrage. It doesn't go anywhere. It's wasted effort, right? But the modality by which we're able to effectively articulate our energetic feelings about something and then provide better outcomes, right? Solution-based approaches to navigating our anger. We see that this is a lot of the energy of feminine. And again, bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but finding ways to communicate through, right, through the intensity of emotions, but even in the modality by which they're able to identify, like, and this is what happens when we're able to communicate direction as well as emotion, we effectively are able to navigate our relationships through difficulty, right, through energetic hurdles. And so that's why we see that that's a lot of the energy. And again, this is what we get with Leo in Aquarius, right? It's not the ability of forgetting about things. It's not the ability of just like not allowing oneself to feel one thing or something, but allowing oneself to sit in the presence of everything that one feels and still be able to articulate and communicate upon that intensity that allows one to be able to drive towards better energetic outcomes. But it's not easy. And there could be those modalities. And we're going to get a lot of this right now because we've got Neptune and Saturn that have both been transiting into Aries right now, right? Those sudden flares, right? Those moments where you're like, right, like building into that space, but then just being able to move it into a productive space, right? And this brings us to non-binary energy. And I want to say for a lot of the non-binary energy right now, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a very surreal time, is what I keep on seeing. And the surreality probably has a lot to do with, we're probably going to be seeing a lot of this right now, especially with the fact that we've got Mercury moving into Pisces, we've got Uranus at just station direct in Taurus. The observation of working through situations and circumstances by which others are able to define upon empathy. I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, the ability to ascertain and recognize the different nuanced approach between inquiry, right? The modality by which another person asks someone something of the self that is genuinely from a vulnerable space, right? Understanding a vulnerable conversation that navigates delicate questions versus the modality of someone asking a targeted question. And what is a targeted question? A question that another person asks, not in the desire to know another, but in the hope of energetically disarming someone egoically. And so for a lot of the energy, recognizing and observing those capacities or experiences, the ability to tell the difference, right? The ability to tell the difference between what feels like a vulnerable conversation versus what feels like something that feels energetically weaponized towards the self. This is a lot of the energy that is very good at being able to ascertain nuance and that understanding of recognizing and working through vulnerability. This is why I feel like this is the energy that often recognizes a space by which you navigate who you feel healthy or safe conversing with versus another person that you just try to energetically steer clear of. And it's requiring the space by which this energy has had to kind of go through an experience or existence by which they can energetically attenuate. And this is why we understand that to a certain extent, like the big warning sign when someone is potentially like trying to effectively like be painful to us is when they say something about saying a harmless question, right? Usually you don't have to say that something is a harmless question if there is not harm intended, right? It's the understanding that projection often shows itself in the space by articulating what it is not. So for a lot of the energy that I keep on getting, that that flippancy, if it will, or those modalities by which they see someone that tries to pantomime being gentle, but truly is being flippant, is the modality by which the energy has learned to be very reverent in relationality to protecting vulnerability. And this is why we can tell the difference between a healthy conversation versus a harmful one, because a healthy conversation works to be protective and precious with vulnerability as they're navigating it. While a flippant one will often, that'll be the first place that they go, right? That'll be the first, that'll be like the first, that'll be exactly what they're looking for, right? So a flippant conversation seeks out vulnerability to take advantage of it, while a vulnerable, healthy conversation is one that navigates vulnerability with a sense of delicacy and care. And that recognition or that amplification of being able to tell the nuanced difference is potentially what is fortifying a lot of the conversations and helping them heal a lot of the trauma that they themselves have experienced. Now, that is where we find all all of the energy prior to beginning today's daily collective read. But if you'd like to find that full reading, you can find it over on the place where we keep the videos. You can also find it over on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find it as a podcast over on my spot at Tarot Church and over on my Stack. I would also encourage you to head over to my Stack to learn more about our next tarot class, which is going to be held on Wednesday, February 18th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the court card of the Sword Suite. If you'd like to become a part of that tarot class program, you just need to mosey on over to my Stack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. As a paid monthly subscriber, you'll have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive. It's not necessary to catch up. I'll be doing my best to give you an update on everything we've studied prior to that next class beginning, but it's a great time to join. You got some time if you want to catch a few of those classes. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything we've learned and studied thus far. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive a discount on the whole year's worth of classes, but you'll also have access to over 20 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class system. One of the things you also have access to, if you choose to receive it, a complimentary mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage, moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule, as well as my mystic meditation articles, which give you updates on everything I've been seeing in the cards over the last few days. Just wrote one recently on this full moon in Leo that we just experienced. I would also encourage you to head over to my Stack to learn more about a very special retreat that I'll be hosting this August. I'd like to invite you to join me August 8th through 13th, as we will be traveling to the location by which the tarot was first discovered to learn more about the cards. We'll be sharpening our tarot skills as we travel through Italy, and everyone who participates in that retreat will not only be receiving customized, personalized classes with me, but we'll also have the opportunity of receiving a complimentary personal mentorship class with me. You can find all of that over on my Stack and over on my spot. Today is the last day to pre-register, and if you pre-register today, you'll also get $200 discount on that full retreat package. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your journey. Also, I'm happy to offer dream interpretation readings, which you can purchase per dream or as a series. If you purchase the series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. But please take a moment and let me know in the comments how this energy is impacting you personally. That said, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read. The list is now open. I am going to stress, my friends, the list is going to be very, 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 very short today. I will only potentially take a couple of people for a full reading. So if you would like to get on the list today, please do so sooner rather than later if you'd like to secure a spot in the reading queue. And if you are on the hold list and would like to be added off of the hold list, please go ahead and just let me know the date that you are added to the hold list, and I'll be happy to add you back on. Welcome, Delete. Thank you for joining us. Carrie, thank you for those likes. I appreciate you. Grand Rising, dear, thank you for being here and receiving these messages. Oh, thank you, and thank you for being a part of this collective. How are you doing today, Iman? Thank you for liking the live as well. And Nikki, thank you for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live as well. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for those hashtags, Nikki. Hope you're having a beautiful start to your day. Still feels jumbled. but I sense a shift. I need to point this out. Even when things are in alignment in Aquarius, it's going to feel a little jumbled. Okay? It's the Aquarius energy. It's liminal. Okay? It's liminal. A little percolation, exactly. Grand Rising, Alexander, good to see you today. And Age of Aquarius, thank you for recharging your heart. Means good to see you as well. Guys, please remember, if you are a super fan who would like if you would like a animal spirit guide card on top of your one card, make sure that you're recharging your heart means. Given the time constraint that we have today, we're probably going to be doing one cards before I get started on personals, just to make sure that we can accommodate everybody's one cards. Already starting strong. I know. I feel good about today. And Nomad, Grand Rising, dear, good to see you. Hi there from Missouri. How are you doing? How's the weather out there? And thank you, Cece, for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. I need practices that encourage patience. It's a good note. It's a good note. I'm going to put a note down on it too, because maybe I can put something together, because I feel like we're all going to need it. I'm just getting some indications on what we can expect with this eclipse cycle. The thing I'm anxious about with the eclipse cycle is the fact that Saturn is moving into Aries just wee days before the eclipse cycle starts, which again, a lot of temperamentality coming up, right? And I want to describe this. We temper our anger by applying it in ways that feel like they matter, right? We temper our anger by feeling like we apply it in ways that feel like they matter. That's going to be helpful. As I mentioned, friends, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read. If you'd like to get on the list for today, the list is open. You will be the first person on the list today read for. The first person on the list will always have an additional card in their reading. Before we get started today, though, we are going to warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10. And when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. I know it's hard. And again, I know you're someone like you. I mean, here's the thing, Alexander. You got a lot of Aries placements, right? I feel like, and I just got to be honest about this, I feel like this energy is not going to be as difficult for those who have a lot of Aries placements. You know, I'm worried about Piscean placements. I'm worried about Aquarius placements. Worried about Virgo placements. You know, those are the ones I'm a little bit more concerned about. Taurus not healed Taurus placement. All right, my friends, I'm going to count back from 10. I'm going to reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Salmon. Thank you. This is why. This is like kind of what the energy is going to feel like, right? And here's the thing about, and like that's the thing about it too, you know, and I like to point this out. And the reason I don't mean that in a way to like distress those that carry placements like that, but it has to do with how we feel when we're energetically upset about things, right? And like Aries are always upset. that's what I mean. Aries, like they were like, it's a space, but Aries are like Aries, like another day, more, oh good, more frustration. You know, like the truth is, like, and this is what we talk about with Aries placements. Aries start angry, right? Aries typically arrive angry, and then they cool. Like you see, they fortify as they get older. But like, and that's what I mean with Piscean placements right now. And I want to say this, especially like I'm very concerned, like for those with Piscean placements, it's the combination of going through, and we always see this like a new moon in Pisces for Pisces energy, especially given the fact that it's also during an eclipse, especially given the fact that we've got a transit out of Pisces, it can trigger abandonment wounds. So there's conscientiousness about that. Virgo placements, it's often it's the expansion point of the feelings that require one not to feel like something's perfect. Remember, perfecting, not perfect, right? Perfecting, not perfect. The space by which things are perfect show us how we can perfect, right? And for those with like Aquarian placements, it's understanding that ideal is never found, it's made, right? It's a lot of that type of work. And for those with Taurus placements, you know, as long as Taurus energy is doing the work not to like Like let someone get under their skin with their irritation is the best way I can describe it, right? Like it's not the time to be snapping is what I'm basically saying. And that doesn't mean that you can't communicate your anger effectively, but again, the way we temper our anger is by is having productive direction attached to it, talking about what would be better, right? Defining what that path work is. Yeah, Ivana, I feel like I mean, I think for you, I think the Libra rising is going to help in that modality, right? Like the Libra energy there, like I want to point out, especially when you've got a lot of that double Virgo energy, Libra can sometimes help with that, right? Yeah. And the same thing, Cece. Excellent. And thank you for sharing the live, Cece. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. As I mentioned, friends, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read. Just a reminder, list is very, very short today. Very, very short list. So if you desperately need a reading today, make sure that you're getting on the list sooner rather than later. Janice, I'm happy to read for Jessica. I'm happy to read for you on that. These are donation-based readings. We're about to get started on the free reading for the collective. We'll be doing personals after. For anybody else who wants to get on the list right now, it's 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers, links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. If you have information that you feel is relevant for the purposes of our reading, if you have a dream that you would like interpreted, or if you have a past life you would like more information on, you can post in the notes when you send the donation. You can also post it in our subscriber-only Disco channel in the appropriate channels. Thank you for the follow, Jessica. Evox, yeah, I found out I was wrong on my birth time. Oh, really? Cap Sun, Cap Rising instead of Sag Rising. Intriguing. Oh, that, I mean, but, you know, and I mean, are you very cuspy? Is that what was happening there? But like the one thing I want to point out is, you know, one of the things we want to see often, and I like to point this out, like we see this with the combination fourth between Cap and Sag, right? Like that energetic proximity is like, I was going to say, yeah, that was going to be my next question to Alexandra. I'd be very curious to see which one you feel more connected to. That said, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read. As I mentioned, if you guys want to get on the list, please do so sooner rather than later. I am going to stress we're probably going to do the 1 cards before we get started on personals today to make sure that we have time to accommodate everything. That happened to you too, Avatar? Oh, that's wild. Interesting. And the same sign work. How powerful. All right, my friends, just a reminder, we've also got 2 different contests happening right now. The highest gifter between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read will be getting a free reading. So make sure, wishing you a lot of luck if you're participating in that giveaway. Currently, just giving you an update on who is in the lead for that giveaway. The lead for that giveaway right now is, one moment, please. Alexandra, thank you so much, dear, for those gifts. I appreciate you. And the other giveaway we'll be doing is when we get to 50K, I'll be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen and we'll get to 50K in no time. That said, no better time than the present. Why don't we get started? Welcome, everyone. Happy Saturday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Saturday, February 7th, 2026. We are going to be starting our daily collective read. We are going to be doing a harmonic energy update right now. We're going to be starting with the first 2 cards in our 5-card spread. First 2 cards we're beginning our day with are, we have here the King of Swords in its upright in combination with the 6 of Wands in its reversal. I like these cards in combination. Let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing here. So we've got a lot. Prior to beginning today's podcast, I was already giving a recap. There's a lot of stuff happening in February. Astrologically, energetically, February is lit. Okay? And we're going to talk for about a few reasons as to why. We have a bunch of things that have already happened. We've got a bunch more things that are coming up. The first thing we have to recognize is some big things that have happened recently. One, Uranus has come out of retrograde. So that is sometimes helpful because it can help one feel like one is no longer in a slump, right? The dual force between Jupiter retrograding in Cancer with Uranus retrograding in Taurus can often feel the frustration in terms of things not moving at the speed that we would aspire them to be. If you had an issue with speed, this is going to be the month for you, right? It's going to be a lot of that slip slide kind of energy. The problem is we're going from like, I need to describe this. We're going from like the grinding gears to the slip and slide is the best way I like to describe the shift that we're seeing that's happening right now between coming out of all of that energy that we experienced last month into this month, right? We have that happening. We also had Neptune moving into Aries. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if your dream space has felt like it's gotten more volatile. I wouldn't be surprised if you're feeling more volatile. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of emotions coming up right now. This is what we can see with Neptune and Aries. Now, the nice thing about it, Neptune and Aries can give us a little bit of a kick in the pants as it relates to like getting on, moving forward with things that we effectively identify are our dreams, right? Like I like Neptune and Aries in that way because it's like dreams into high gear, you know, like just gotta move the dreams into high gear. But the thing about it, and this is the thing about it, like depending on how well you've done your shadow work, right? Like making sure that you're not following dreams in the direction of fears, right? This is why we talk about the importance of shadow work, like not allowing the context of the weight of anxiety to guide or steer direction, right? Because when we are, and this is what we also talk about, like when we avoid our fears, we're steered by our fears because we literally just move in the direction of trying to avoid them. So this is a lot of the work that we understand, and this is what we like about, like, that's why I like a full moon in Leo, right? Full moon in Leo and Aquarius says like, hey, fear, look at me when I'm talking to you, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of that type of energy. And we also have on top of that, the fact that Pluto's in Aquarius right now, which is potentially not helping things. We also have, okay, now I just want to walk you through this, and I keep on saying this, that I often see it, the way I read energy, whenever we're going into an eclipse cycle, not the recent moon, the moon prior to the recent moon is a little bit of a precursor in terms of what we can expect. So we had that Capricorn new moon energy, right, prior to this full moon that we experienced, working through the heart of our vulnerability, being able to articulate what we care about. So this brings us to the things that we've got coming up in the next few weeks. What do we have coming up in the next few weeks? We've got Saturn that is going to move, just going to join Aries. That's going to join Neptune in Aries. Saturn is also going to be transiting back into Aries, okay? And that can also, right? That's what I meant in relationality to understanding that time is not your enemy, okay? Time is your friend, right? And working into the modality of understanding and recognizing that, right, is how we come into maturation, right? The ability of being able to effectively apply our time in ways and spaces by which we're able to identify and articulate the meaning of things, right? So there's a lot of that energy that we're potentially going to have. And I need to stress this because this is what's going to happen. It's going to be like boom, 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 right? We've got right on the, right before the new moon, Saturn moves into Aries, and then boom, right? Then we've got Pisces, a new moon in Pisces that kicks off eclipse season, right? So that can be a lot of emotions, right? A lot of it's like, and I want to say, like, it's almost like I want to describe this, and we often see this right now with Piscean energy. What can sometimes happen when we have a lot of Piscean energy? Emotional floodgates, right? Like feeling a lot of that emotionality or working through a lot of emotions all at once. But this isn't what's important about it. Like when we are able to stand within the context of the self, like when we find that energetic stabilization point, then we're able to effectively understand the emotions that we feel, right? Rather than letting the emotions carry us away, okay? And I'm going to say this again because I always like that ability or that capacity of recognizing and identifying the word I want you to walk into that energy with is proportionality, okay? Proportionality, which isn't to say, right? It isn't to say that that having a lot of feelings is a problem. Having a lot of feelings is a gift. so long as we are proportional with what we do with them. That brings us to the King of Swords and it's upright. And that's why I like to see the King of Swords and it's upright and the Six of Wands. Because what we're really getting is this is the most stabilizing energy we're going to have between now and the time of eclipse season starting. And what we effectively see that's happening right now is we actually have, like, we have some very elegant alignment that's happening right now in Aquarius. Like, there's a lot of planets in Aquarius right now, but they're in alignment, right? Which can, again, it talks about the way that we effectively feel, right? The way by which we address things often makes us feel energetically prepared, right? It's ducks in the row kind of energy, right? It's taking it, it's not feeling overwhelmed, right? It's when and what is and I like this too, because looking at the planets right now in Aquarius, it literally shows us what to do when we feel overwhelmed. What do we do when one feels overwhelmed? Break it down into smaller pieces. Does that piece still feel too big? Smaller still, right? The way to accomplish anything is to make it smaller tasks, right? So if you're feeling this energy right now, if you're feeling like you've got like too much to do, not enough time to do it, I don't want you rushing. I want you proportioning, right? I want you writing like this is what, again, channeling some of that Capricorn new moon energy and bringing it into this energy, the last energetic cycle, right? When everything gets done, just don't focus on the whole thing. Focus on each small, individuated, concentrated effort. And a little bit goes a long way. And this is how we accomplish the impossible. A little bit every day makes the impossible the reality, right? And so we see that that's a lot of that energy here, especially with the King of Swords, right? This is the King of Swords with the Six of Wands, right? Many hands make the work very, very simple. So we see that that's a lot of that energy working through that, taking that modality of like already bringing in a lot of that proportionality. Now, this is having a different impact depending on where you find yourself on the frequency cycles. And we're going to start first with the energy that is in solitude. And that is specifically, we're speaking towards, these are energies right now that are working through relationship cycles that are focused on the lessons of the World card. Center card for today's spread. We've got here, I like it. Man, this Four of Pentacles has been popping up like wild right now. And I don't mind it, because here's the thing about the Four of Pentacles. It's a conversation about, it's working into the space of healthy manifestation. And when you're working into the healthy manifestation, you don't concentrate on how, right? You don't concentrate on, actually, you don't concentrate on what. You concentrate on how. And why do we hear you don't concentrate on what? You concentrate on how. Because we understand that a healthy manifestation is a journey into vulnerability, right? And this is often, and this is what I keep on seeing with a lot of this energy. When we identify a healthy manifestation, we don't articulate what we want. We articulate how we want to feel, right? We build into how we want it to feel when we get there, right? And that's why we are able to effectively understand that a healthy manifestation is an act of cultivation, because it's a modality by which, when we change how we feel, we can change what is real, right? And this is what we often recognize. You've seen people who always identify someone who's always energetically miserable, and you're like, what? Why? Like, if I get this, I won't be miserable anymore. If I get this, I won't be miserable anymore. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. You're the same person in that space. Now you just got something, right? And so that understanding, that recognition of understanding that a healthy manifestation is an act of cultivation, the work that we do to feel better within ourselves as we journey towards the things that we energetically care about, it allows us to understand joy is not found at the destination. Joy is what we bring with us to the energetic location of our manifestation goals. And that modality, or that capacity of understanding that, that's why I see, and I like this for some of these energies right now, working through these working through these world relationships. And I saw this effective shift happening right around the time that we navigated that Capricorn new moon energy. This is the energy that understands that the best thing that we can do for partnership is take care of ourselves and to find our personal sense of bliss. Because when we find our personal sense of bliss, right, then when we look towards relationship, we're not looking at relationship to fix us or to heal us. We're looking at relationship to fortify what already exists, right? And that's what I keep on getting. I'm fortifying what already exists. I'm not looking for a relationship to profoundly change something, because there's no relationship on the planet that'll do something. I'm looking for something that fortifies how I already am, right? And that's the energy that says the business of healing relationship starts within the journey or the context of the self. I also see some energy right now that is working into the context of healthy partnership, potentially new relationships that are forming by being able to articulate and speak upon the healthy manifestation, right? The manifestation that acts as shield for the right relationship. If you know what you aspire for in relationship, and this is what the energy just understands, the modality by which another person hears your manifestation goal and does not aspire for it, that's not rejection, it's a gift, right? The modality by which the sound that we should hear when we're moving towards a manifestation is a wholehearted yes, right? It's the understanding, and I see that this is what I like about these new relationships forming, understanding that manifestation goals aren't promises, but it's the modality by which they're setting the intention and relationality to what that direction is that allows the possibility of being able to energetically flourish together. Now, this brings us to, right, continuing into the energy that is moving deeper into divine union right now, and these are the moon relationships. And these moon relationships were effectively forming between the time of the most recent Capricorn new moon cycle, which was in January, I believe it was the 18th, up until Uranus stationing direct in September, which was around September 6th, I want to believe. And these were relationships that were concentrating on the lessons that we see in the moon card. Fourth and fifth cards in our 5-card spread for today. Come on, I know you want to come out. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Is that 2 cards? Yep, 2 cards. All right, we got 3 cards coming out, but we're going to read them because that's what we do. We got the Justice card in its upright with the 9 of Swords in its upright. I don't mind seeing a Justice card in its upright with a 9 of Swords in its upright. Why do I not mind seeing that Justice card in upright with a 9 of Swords in its upright? Because that is the continuation, as well as a 10 of Wands in its reversal. And what's beautiful about that energy that we're seeing is it's working into the space of, and it's a continuation of understanding, right? And this is what we see in healthy relationship, right? I want to describe these energies, these moon relationships right now are absolutely tireless. It is just go, 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 go. And I keep on seeing that one of the major benefits that's happening in these relationships is I really feel like something about these partnerships that were coming together is the identification of recognizing, right, invested effort in making the world a better place is what I keep on hearing. Invested effort in making the world a better place. And what's hard about this, as I'm seeing with some of those relationships, they're healing from trauma with energy, past relationships where another person took that effort personally, right? The modality, like literally, I see that there's trauma that some of these moon relationships are carrying, by which they're literally, right? Because this is what the moon does, right? It orbits around the earth, literally doing the work to try to make the energetic world a better place, right? And then the modality by which another person feeling energetically upset because the energy was doing what they felt was energetically necessary. And this is what I see is healthy about those relationships, because I keep on seeing never before have they had a relationship that created firmament for them, right? Which is the modality of another person feeling or experiencing something in such a way that they don't take that type of work personally, right? The recognition and the understanding that is allowing the deepening of a connection. Because, and I keep on getting this, right? Like this is the energy that literally understands, right? They understand the difference between personal and universal, right? Right. I literally I see this energy almost articulating to each other and saying, how could I take something personal when you're doing something universal? Right? How could I take something personal when you're doing something universal, which is the modality by which another person recognizes the work that they're doing that feels like it's trying to actively change something. And in the modality by which they feel that, they have that sense of confidence in relationality to the fact or the face of this is the energy that's literally like I keep on hearing like they're giving each other their heart more because they're saying I've never had someone that wasn't that was able to recognize and identify that significant difference, right? Now, we're moving back into the temperance relationships. Now, the temperance relationships were the relationships that were focusing or coming together at the time that the temperance card lessons were happening. And that was occurring between the time of, as we spoke about, Uranus stationing retrograde in September of this past year, up until the solstice period that we had this summer, which was in about June. Clarification between the King of Swords in its upright and that Six of Wands in its upright. I love that combination, man. I love that combination. Let's just glue it to the table. Woo! No, I like it even more now. we got a six of Pentacles in its upright. A lot of six on the table. These are healthy sixes though. These are healthy sixes because this is understanding and recognizing the work we do to harmonize. And I need to point out, this is what's up with those temperance relationships. And here's the thing about it, and I need to describe this. The temperance relationships have had to navigate the fact that, and it's like, make it make sense, right? When you are strong, there's always someone who will define that you are doing them wrong because you're not lending them your strength, is what I keep on hearing, right? And this is the trauma that these temperance relationships are carrying, right? I just keep on hearing the same message. When we are strong, when you are strong, there's always someone who feels that you are wrong because you are not lending them your strength, is what I keep on seeing. And I keep on hearing the modality by which this energy has learned to recognize that energy that understands the limitations, right? The limitations in terms of what we can do, right? And I keep on hearing healthy energy asks us to bend, but never asks us to break, is what I keep on getting. Healthy energy asks us to bend, but never asks us to break, because it's a modality by which they themselves have had to energetically separate from circumstances or situations by which they were not appreciated, is what I keep on seeing. And so this is the gift. Like, that's what I see. Remember, this is how, look at this. This is how they view one another, right? Like, this is how they see one another. They both see each other in the experience of that generosity. But I keep on getting, and this is that King of Swords energy there, because it says, right, that the work that we do in relationality to generosity is stabilized with energy that energy that appreciates the effort, but not in the modality of the effort that becomes the demand. Because often when the effort becomes the demand, you recognize the full shape of having to effectively understand what feels like it is energetically healthy. So we've got a lot of that energy there. And I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy articulating upon that, I keep on getting it feels like, and I like this because this is a lot of that Leo energy, right? Often the energy that feels upset because they can't give more to things, right? And this is the energy that's almost articulating to one another and saying that in itself is the expression of our compassion, right? And it's a hard part because it's like the hard part with compassionate energy. It's always in the space by which we wish we had more to give, but then we recognize and identify what feels like, right? What feels like it's energetically stabilizing and fortifying, right? So that we don't, I keep on hearing, so that we don't dissolve in the wake of others' energetic demands upon us. Now, this is bringing us back to those moon relationships, clarification between those double sixes, the Six of Wands in its upright in combination with, well, not the double sixes, the Six of Wands. It's just, I got all Roman for a second because you see, you put a 6 and a 4 together and they look very similar. So we've got the Six we got the Six of Wands in its upright with the Four of Pentacles in its upright, right? Clarification, please. What do we have here? We've got the 6. Oh my God, the 6 of Cups. We've got the 6 of Cups in its upright. So we have a lot of that harmonious 6 energy there. And I want to stress this, these sixes, and we often see this, the modality of understanding that sixes talk to us, right? In the tarot, the numeric values are very important. 5 often speaks to us, and we're going to talk about this when we start to go into the studies of the minor arcana in the Tarot Church class program. But 5s are often signs of conflict. 6s are often the sign of energetic harmony, right? And so this is what I like to see, especially for some of those, like moving back towards those energies that are in separation right now, right? Because what we see, right, and this is what's beautiful about this trine, right, this trine of 6 energy that we have here, right? And I just want to show it to you so you have clarification on it. Look at these cards, okay? Look how lovely these cards are, because it's the identification that says that the work that we do to heal relationships starts within, right? We heal within. We heal the inner child within, right? Which allows us to heal the world around us without. Because when we start to heal our inner child, we become the champion in protecting the most vulnerable parts of ourselves, right? We don't try to punish vulnerability when we see it. And this is why you can often notice that those who are in the space by which they see vulnerability and feel the desire to take advantage of it usually carry deep, deep trauma in terms of something that happened to them when they were energetically vulnerable. This is the cycle of vulnerability that we work to heal, right? The energy by which another person tries to say, I'm trying to get rid of your vulnerability and you should thank me, forgetting that vulnerability is a precious gift. The world becomes a terrible place when we look at vulnerability as something that needs to be expunged rather than something that needs to be protected or held preciously. And when we start to care about ourselves more, right? When we start to see that vulnerable part of ourselves and love ourselves there, then that same amplification of love that we give to the vulnerable part of ourselves is something that we start to give in relationality to everyone around us, right? It is the gift within that expresses itself from without. It is the generosity of spirit that we find within our own selfhood that then extends to the world that we share all around us, right? Because everybody only has, you can't only give the capacity of care in the capacity by which one cares about oneself, right? It's a natural state. When you feel compassion within, and this is the thing about it, right? Compassion is generous. Compassion is eager, right? Compassion wants more compassion, right? It's the gift that we want, because the more compassion we create, and that's what's beautiful about it. Compassion is a celebration, right? Because when you create compassion, right, another person wants to create compassion, and then another person wants to create compassion. It's something that allows for that space of joy to energetically radiate. And so we see that for a lot of the energy working into that context, right? And this is the hard part, right? It has to start with the journey of the work that we do within. And I feel like a lot of that energy is healing from the falsehood that being centered in self is somehow selfish. Anything you give to yourself, giving yourself compassion, is only selfish if it's exceptional, right? If you're giving yourself compassion in a way that you would not give it to anybody else, then yes, that is literally the sound of selfishness. Compassion is the extension, right? Something that is centered in self is proportional to what one would eagerly give to those around the self. So I keep on seeing that this is the work that we see that the energy in solitude is doing, potentially healing, doing inner child healing, potentially in the space by which they feel like they're not worthy of compassion, returning that compassion back to the self, saying that you did not deserve not to have compassion. And then in the modality by which they find that, they find a passion for themselves that allows them to build into healthy counterpart connection. And this is the energy, this is the hard work right? This is the hard work that we see a lot of those new connections are making. Because again, this is what we're going to see. We're going to talk a little bit about this because Uranus retrograding in coming out of retrograde in Taurus talks about the journey of Taurus, which is often the understanding that's saying the only way that one can get better at something is if one steps out of one's own comfort zone, right? The sound of us getting stronger often is the sound by which we feel like we are not good at something, right? It's the work that we do to kind of like allow the space by which we understand that vulnerability is necessary to get stronger, right? And so we see that this is a lot of that energy that's doing that work and potentially even articulating to that in relationality to the connections that they're making. Continuing to get clarification between our Four of Pentacles in its upright in combination with the 10, that Four of Pentacles energy in combination with the Nine of Swords in its upright and this Justice card in its upright. It's not ideal, but it never is, right? That's what we see there. One card to clarify, please. Clarification with the Page of Wands in its reversal. And here's the thing about it, and I want to describe this right now for some of those moon relationships. And the thing with those moon relationships that I just want to stress, those moon relationships are carrying the trauma of trying to like literally, right? And this is what I keep on seeing. And this is why those relationships are becoming so precious to one another. Because the modality by which another person carries the weight of often feeling like they have to apologize, right? The modality by which they feel like they have to apologize for for firing on all cylinders is what I'm getting, right? Like the modality by which they have been working so hard, and often the space by which they're working, another person, right? And this is what I keep on seeing, feeling the experience in the past of a relationship that took that tireless effort personally, right? The modality by which another person was navigating the space of another person. Like I literally see somebody doing something, not even for the sense of themselves, but because they'd found their purpose, right? These are very, very purpose-driven relationships, because I keep on hearing the reason that they keep on saying, you have no idea how precious you are to me, is I keep on hearing somebody saying to another, you're the only person I've ever met who does not take my purpose personally, right? Which is the modality by which another person is working towards their purpose, and another person gets upset because the person is not orbiting them enough or not giving them enough energetic attention. So that's what I keep on seeing in relationality to that, because I keep on seeing that, and I'm not surprised, these are moon relationships, right? Like they're moon relationships, which is it's a lot of that understanding, right? Like that's the energy that understands that often a healthy relationship, right? This is what we talk about with interconnected partnership. It doesn't, like an interconnected relationship, when something's healthy, you don't have to be staring at it perpetually, right? Right? It's not like that's the beauty of it being healthy, right? It's healthy even when you're not energetically fixated or focused upon it, right? So that's what we see, that there's a little bit of that difference. You're seeing the differences in and that's not to say, and I need to stress this, it's not to say that every relationship is like that, but this is why we're demarcating the differences in the qualities and characteristics of the relationships that were coming together during these cycles. Now, this is bringing us back to the temperance relationships. Temperance relationships are much more like pillar energy, right? We've got a lot more of that pillar energy there for those temperance partnerships. It's a mutual effort, right? It's a mutual effort that allows anything to be possible so long as the work is mutual, right? That's more of that. Like I like to describe it, right? Like I almost see the moon relationships as orbits, while the temperance relationships are more like tag team, if that makes sense. And we've got here that Nine of Swords in its upright with the Justice card and the 10 of Wands in its reversal. One card to clarify. Ah! Sorry. It's a temperance card. I feel a little funny, and I'm sorry I was talking about you. All right, anyway, so I was saying, so we've got the temperance card here. That's exactly what we see, right? And so what we're effectively identifying is, especially with those temperance relationships, it's requiring them to embody, like this is the thing about it. And I like this about like these temperance relationships, they are rugged. When I say they are rugged, it is literally like I see them kind of working through the modality of saying, and this is what I love about those energies when I'm reading for them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's happening around the self if you know the self, right? Right. It is when you know what the work is, right? Sometimes it takes sometimes it takes an inch, sometimes it takes a mile to make the same inch, is what I keep on seeing, right? Like, and I think that that's interesting too, because I feel like that's what I see with a lot of those energies. It's like, go get that inch, is what I keep on hearing. Right. And this is what we talk about with like, but that's what we mean in relationality to when we hold ourselves to a standard, right? That's often the vibration that we feel. And why do we hear that space of saying, go get that inch when you're navigating a standard, right? Because I feel like these are energies that are very much articulating upon the standards that they hold themselves to. And the thing about it is when you hold yourself to a standard, right? The standards around the self have nothing to do with you, is what I keep on hearing. Like I see the energy seeing others and being like, that's their standards, these are mine. The only hard part about these relationships, and this is what I keep on seeing that they say to each other, which is saying to them, do you recognize or realize, right? You recognize or realize that you hold different standards for yourself than those around the self, right? And I see that energy being like, I see the energy being like, yes. I see the energy being like, I literally see energy, like it's giving me the type of energy that's like, you know what? Everybody deserves a break. Everybody needs a little bit of rest. Everybody needs to like have 3 square meals, except me. Like it's the energy that goes, but then they go except, and then that's when the like I see like the counterpart being like, what did you just say? It's the modality by which they recognize that they don't hold themselves to the same. I keep on hearing, and this is always the caveat, because you have to understand every good rule has an energetic caveat attached to it, right? And this is the energy that often articulates and says everybody has to hold a reasonable standard, except for the self, which holds the standards a little. It's like this is the energy that does not lower the standard for themselves, right? It's okay to have a standard if your standard's raised, not lowered. Because when you have a standard that is lowered for yourself, then that's selfish, right? But when you have a standard that you hold a little bit higher, a little bit higher, then that is the sound of you moving towards your higher self, right? It's the energy that says a little bit higher, a little bit every day, a little bit higher, every day, a little bit higher is the sound of effectively finding or working towards our energetic perfect, right? So but not too much, not too much. You don't want to tip over. It's what I keep on hearing. Like that's what I keep on hearing the energy saying to one another, right? Proportionally, right? A little bit. Now continuing and moving back towards the energy, moving back towards that energy in solitude right now, those world relationships. God, these cards are this is so world relationship right now. It's like if you are a tarot nerd, you can go ahead and take a look at the spread, because that's what you're going to see there. Clarification between the 6 of Pentacles and the 6 of Cups, which is just like, it's so nice. Those 2 cards together, it's just chef's kiss. Can I get one card, please? Bottom of the deck, 2 cards coming out. Ooh, look at that. 10 of Pentacles with Magician. And I don't mind. I like this combination because, and I want to describe this, right? Look at this. 10 of Pentacles with Magician is working into the space of finding our exceptionalism. Not exception, exceptional. What is the difference between exception and exceptional, right? The modality by which we recognize, right? And this is what we identify. The caveat and rules in relationality to when we hold ourselves lower, when we articulate that everyone has a standard except for us, right? That is the sound of selfishness taking root, right? The lowered standard by which everybody else has to meet here, but we have to go lower, is the modality by which we identify and articulate what feels like it's energetically selfish. But the modality by which we identify and articulate, right, the standard that we hold that's energetically higher for ourselves, right, that modality by which we come into the expansive point, by which we try to effectively elevate an experience, right? And this is what we talk about the salvation of the self is found in the elevation of experience, because it's the modality by which we see something and say, how can I do it a little bit better? How can I do it a little bit better, right? It's not the modality by which you beat yourself up about it, but the space by which you're ever perfecting, remembering that perfect is never found, right? Perfect is a call that we answer within ourselves, and the sound of us moving towards perfect is a little bit better, right? A little bit better, right? The modality by which we're slowly potentially always in the blissful state, right? The blissful state of recognizing the modality by which we're always getting a little bit better. And even when we experience a setback, right, it's a gift because it allows the ability of being able to identify and recognize what it is that we need to effectively work upon or build upon still. And so that's what I keep on getting with a lot of this energy, right? Working through the proportionality. And this is what's beautiful about this, right? I see this energy like, and this is the energy, right? This is the energy that's in solitude, right? This is energy in solitude saying, I'm working on my relationship in solitude. If every day I am getting a little bit closer to my bliss, right? Because this is the sound of me finding ideal partnership. This is the sound of me finding my energetic perfect, so that when I meet that person, right, it's not going to be a help me. It's going to be like, let me show you some stuff. It's going to be like, it's going to feel, right? It's going to feel like it's finding the ideal. And when we find the ideal, we first become it, right? We answer the call within to move towards our manifestations, right? And this is why we don't look at manifestations going, where is it? We say, what's getting in the way of me finding it, right? And this is why we have to do our shadow work effectively, because, and this is the thing, we live in a very loving universe. It's very helpful, right? And the modality, we say, I want something, and the universe is like, okay, here's the block. Here's the block. Here's what you got to work on, right? This is what we have to fix, right? Everything is possible so long as we understand a healthy manifestation is a mutual effort. And when we move towards a manifestation goal, this is why we have to be in the space of being ready to be vulnerable, right? Because what is the first thing you say to the universe when you say, I want this? The universe says, okay, I can get that to you, but I need to show you what's in the way in order to be able to find it. Are you ready for that journey, right? Are you ready for that journey of understanding, right? Are you ready for that journey of recognizing and identifying what you need to heal within in order to be able to find what you are seeking without? So we see that that's a lot of the energy that's working into that space, and they're finding, right? They're finding their sense of energetic bliss as they continue through that experience, because it is the harmony that they're creating that they recognize is going to be received from divine counterpart as the energetic celebration, right? The modality of finding someone in a state of bliss that creates the energetic harmony in relationality to what we're seeking within. And so this is also what I see for some of these new relationships. But remember these two cards together, right? These two cards together is exactly what we can expect, right? These are exactly what we can expect in relationality to working through the energy, right? Working through the energy that we effectively see in relationality to, right? In relationality to Uranus in Taurus. And Uranus in Taurus effectively speaks towards the observation of the journey, that in order to effectively find our comfort zone, right? To expand our comfort zone, what's the first thing we have to do? We have to learn to be uncomfortable, right? The sound of becoming stronger is being vulnerable. And that does not mean, do not misunderstand me, that doesn't mean that you grin and bear unbearable situations. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? I'm not talking about situations by which you navigate completely untenable situations, but the modality by which we do that work to identify, right? And I see this energy building into healthy relationship being like, hello, you're meeting me, stepping out of my comfort zone, right? The modality by which we always navigate that feeling, by which we're articulating to each other how we feel vulnerable, but being able to find the modality by which we get better at it. Now, continuing and moving back towards those moon relationships, clarification between that 6 of the Six of Cups in its upright with the Page of Wands in its reversal. Clarification coming through right now with our Three of Cups in its upright. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful spread today. Beautiful spread today. Lovely. If you are a tarot nerd, make sure you head on over to the stack at some point to get a view of these cards, because it's a very, very elegant spread. And I want to describe this, especially with that Three of Cups. Three of Cups in its upright is a conversation in relationality to working through the modality and experience by which we identify and recognize. Like it's the modality by which we recognize and identify the space by which we care about things. You know, and I want to describe this here, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of these moon relationships are, and I want to describe, like what I'm seeing here, and here's the hard part with the Four of Pentacles and the Three of Cups, right? I feel like there's a lot of this energy in those moon relationships that are absolutely exhausted in having to feel the sense of having to hold their purpose carefully, right? Because the modality, and I keep on seeing this, the state by which the energy articulates upon how much something energetically means to them, and having to go through relationship cycles in the past by which another person tried to articulate upon their purpose hurting relationship, right, was the modality by which they recognized that another person did not hold their purpose with the same prioritization as they themselves did. And I keep on hearing this in relationality to those relationships. When we care about each other, we don't have to have the same purpose, but we have to respect each other's purpose. We don't have to have the same purpose, but we have to respect it. And in fact, I like to point this out, and this is what's happening with some of these moon relationships, right? These are relationships built upon mutual respect, is what I keep on seeing. These are relationships that are built upon mutual respect. And the reason I keep on seeing those relationships that are built on mutual respect is the modality by which they feel, right? that even though they don't do the same thing, the direction of their purpose, it's like, I keep wondering, the purpose moves in the same direction, right? It's like different things, same purpose, right? The unifying purpose that fuels their passion is one and the same. And that's why I see that is the energy that builds into these relationships are truly deepening, because it's the modality of the experience by which they feel, right? They feel the energetic intensity of a connection by which another person, I just keep on hearing, different passion, same purpose. Different passion, same purpose, which is the modality of understanding the direction by which the purpose moves, right? And so that's what I keep on seeing, because it feels very much like they're working into that space by which I keep wondering, they're just as eager to talk about counterpart's purpose as they are their own, right? Because it's that modality by which they feel in a way that the work that they do is one and the same, even if it's in different ways, is what I keep on hearing. Continuing to get clarification here between the Page of Wands in its reversal. We're going to talk a little bit about this Page of Wands in its reversal here with the Temperance card for those Temperance relationships right now. One card to clarify, please. Yeah, wow, we've got double tens right now. This spread right now is triple tens. We've got triple tens right now. 3 of the 4 10 cards on the table. 3 of the 4 6 cards on the table. That is a lot of healthy energy. And I'm going to say, like, this is a very holistic day, is what I keep on seeing. And I want to describe this as, and the one thing, and I remember how I said a lot of those planets in Aries, they were a little bit more, like they've been a little bit more confounded, is the best way I can describe it leading up to today. The planets are in effective alignment right now in Aquarius, which is potentially making this feel a little bit easier. So this is a good day to effectively articulate, and it feels, I keep on getting, it's very good day in the space of relationship, right? And I like to describe that the modality of relationship is often the space by which we're energetically, I keep on hearing, the space by which we're able to energetically harmonize in terms of our energetic purpose. And I also see here that there's something important in relationality to that as well, that we're also identifying that's occurring as it relates to, and this is what's hard about it, right? And this is what I keep on getting. These are literally the temperance relationships are feeling fortified by articulating to one another modalities or experiences by which another person, I keep on seeing the space by which we find, like the space by which we are energetically productive is often amplified and articulated in the space by which we recognize mutual effort, right? And I keep on seeing, and this is what's so important about that, right? Because what do we identify with mutual, like with mutual effort? Um, Mutual effort is understanding that when everybody does something, then the amount that needs to be done is minimized, right? The modality by which, if we exist in a space by which everybody does their energetic part, then there isn't much to do. But often, and this is what happens to those who are in the space of being helpers, right? The modality of desiring or wanting to bring into the sense of plenitude can only occur when everybody effectively wants to help in the same way. And so it doesn't have to require everybody to do the same thing. But if everybody effectively tries to do something, like, and this is why we talk about there's no lost effort, right? Because a little bit every day goes a long way. And if everybody did a little bit, right, what a world this would be. But the modality by which others say, why bother, right? The sense of another person's insecurity in relationality to the impact that their personal energetic signature has on the energy around them. This is often the space of understanding. Then this is the negative point that we often recognize needs to be healed when we're navigating through Aquarius energy, because every sign has positives and negatives, right? It's just me who would know the difference, right? The modality by which we often feel that sense, that sensitivity of the minimalization of our own energetic signature is often the identification point by which we recognize that if everybody felt like that, everything would be in a state of stagnancy. And that doesn't mean, right? Doesn't mean the modality by which we are always in a state of rest, but that proportionality by which we understand, right? Every day, we give forth in some way, right? And I feel like there's something really beautiful about that, because that's what I see with these temperance energies, right? These temperance relationships perpetually get stronger because they understand that the shape of becoming stronger is every day giving a little bit more, right? Like the space by which, and that's how we identify expansion, right? And this is what we understand in the space by which we navigate our own energetic capacity, because often that's the space by which, and this is what we talk about with an expansion process, right? The space by which we look towards things and we feel energetic eagerness in relationality to that bit, to the business of expansion. And this is what we talk about, and this is what I keep on seeing, and these temperance relationships get it, right? When you're working towards a manifestation, be ready to feel overwhelmed, be ready to have your hands full, right? It often creates those modalities by which you're like, there's so much to be done, and there's not a lot to do it. But that's why we see that, like the modality by which we effectively navigate, right? We navigate a lot of that energetic busyness, but we allow the busyness to become our energetic business, right? Because it's the modality by which we effectively identify and articulate upon the eagerness by which we ourselves are working towards our own expansion. And so I feel like there's a lot of that energy, like the temperance relationships get this, right? Like the temperance relationships, and this is what I love about them, they understand that the greatest gift that they give each other is taking something off each other's plate, right? The ability by which another person, right? The ability by which another person recognizes or understands, right? Like when we understand each other's capacity, the gift that we give each other is being able to do something in such a way that we attenuate towards the recognition of being able to be each other's support systems. And this is what I love about these temperance relationships. They are very attenuated to being very good support systems for one another, because it's the identification of point of not only, I keep wondering, it's not just the fact that they do something, but the fact that they're attenuated in relationality to their needs, and their ability to effectively deliver upon them is almost the modality by which I keep on seeing they help each other generate a continual flow state, right? And it's the modality by which that effort happens in relationality, in terms of being able to identify. And this is why it's beautiful. Like, if you want flow state, start building empathy, right? If you want to have a flow state, start building empathy, because it's the modality by which the flow state that one creates is not just the modality by which it's within, but it's something that you create without, right? You become the energetic flow state. And I keep on hearing, like, that's what a lot of that energy has. And that modality or ability of understanding that is what is the framework of a lot of those relationships, that temperance energy. Continuing to get clear, and they don't interrupt. They don't interrupt. I also see, like, they don't. Yeah, it's some bit of that too. Now, these cards here are absolutely beautiful. We've got this third row we have out here: 10 of Pentacles, Magician, 3 of Cups, 10 of Cups. Clarification, moving back to the energy and separation between the 10 of Pentacles and the Magician and the 3 of Cups. We have here, the 8 of Pentacles. 8 of Pentacles in its upright. And so it's interesting. Where's Capricorn right now? You know, I feel like there's a lot of energetic productivity that we see right now. And I need to stress this. It's not that everything's perfect. Far from it. That I'm gonna stress this right now. That 9 of Swords is real. That Page of Wands is real, right? But this is a continuation of understanding the importance, right? The importance of understanding something healthy is not disassociating. Something healthy is energetically bearing witness, right? And I want to describe this right now, like, this is what we see is happening with a lot of these energies in solitude, right? The amplification and articulation of recognizing and identifying, right? This is the energy that is working in solitude, that says, in order to do the hard work on myself, I have to look at the parts of myself that are hard to look at, right? The screw, like I keep on hearing, and this is what we talk about, and this is why I don't like the word, like, shadow work. I don't like the term shadow work, because I feel like it sometimes creates a negative implication. Shadow work is being able to effectively overcome, like, working towards the space by which we feel aversion. And that's not to say that is not the space by which we eliminate all aversion. Some aversions are there for a very good reason. We're supposed to have aversions to things. There are things that we're not supposed to tolerate because they're completely unconscionable, right? Never create the false space, and the space by which, right? And this I keep on hearing, healthy spirituality always makes room for the unconscionable, which is the modality by which we don't avert our gaze and say, oh, I don't look at that. I'm sorry, I'm spiritual, I can't look at that. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's not spirituality. Because and you have to understand this. This has been coming up a lot in the readings. The difference between intuition and delusion is, if you're ever interested, okay, if you're ever curious as to whether you're experiencing intuition or delusion, delusion doesn't want to see things. Intuition sees things with absolute clarity. Okay, if you're ever unsure, right? Delusion is like, no, don't, that's not happening. No, I can't look at that. No, right? It's when we push away, like, that is delusion, right? It's the modality of being like, refraining the gaze, right? Refraining the gaze from something that is not pleasant is literally, that is what delusion is, okay? The intuition is the modality by which, and this is why you can usually tell, intuition will find a miracle on the end of intuition, okay? And then, and often, and delusion, right? Delusion, you'll find a mirror. And that's the modality by which we understand and express it, right? The space by which we come into the profound understanding of ourselves, right? And this is what you have to understand. And this is what I like about these moon relationships. They understand that, right? And this is why we have to do our shadow work. And this is the hard part about it. Like, when we're doing our shadow work effectively, like, that's what we talk about. Like, sometimes we follow that shadow work and we go, whoa, right? Oh, like, I've got some work to do there, right? That's good too, right? Because when we're invested in doing the work to understand ourselves, we want to understand our vulnerabilities. We want to see them with clarity. And we want to also understand the modality by which we are able to define and recognize what feels like it is attenuated to ourselves. But we only get there, right? If we only get there if we're willing to do the messy business of understanding ourselves, right? And you've seen this, you've experienced this in your life. You've had people who effectively have a lot of fear, right? And their fear is rampant. Why? Because their fear is rampant because they're harping on upon it, upon the fact that it's everywhere, and the only person that can see it is them, right? And they'll often employ the ubiquitous they, right? Because nothing the ego loves more than to employ the ubiquitous they when it comes to talking about something that is related to the self, right? So you got a lot of energy that often goes around talking about the ubiquitous they, the ubiquitous they, and being like, is the they you? Is the ubiquitous they you? Because 9 times out of 10, it pretty much is. So we see even now that for a lot of that energy working through that, right? This is a lot of the energy that's working through the modality of the work in solitude, and even in the modality by which they're navigating. And I like to see this. There's those experiences by which they're healing by the way that they talk to themselves. And here's a nice little tip. The higher self never refers to you as you. If you hear that sound in your head that says you, that's usually your trauma. Right? If you hear yourself being referred to in the second person in your own head, that's your trauma talking. We don't talk to ourselves in the you form, right? Why? We wouldn't do that. And so I feel like there's a lot of that energy that is effectively recognizing and identifying. And we only find those modalities of experience by being able to energetically carry the weight of what it is that we're working to heal from, by being able to recognize and identify and effectively work through, right? Doing that healthy work to understand and untangle the rabbled mess that we often feel within ourselves, that help us be able to understand, right? That often the healthy journey of being into the healthy spirituality is not feeling that the mess is gone, but owning the blessed mess, right? Like it's owning the blessed mess that is us, right? And at least being able to identify and say, like, yeah, that's mine. Like, that's not a thing. You don't have to get rid of it. You just need to understand it, right? You have to bless it. You bless it by saying, yes, that's mine, right? It's the ability of understanding and recognizing it that allows us to be able to work through it. And so that's why I keep on hearing that that's a lot of energy, that even in the modality by which they feel that there's a lot of work that they need to do, they say it's my work, right? Why else am I here if not to do that work? And when we look at the context of understanding ourselves as a gift, it might be a messy gift, right? But it's the honor of our existence to be able to sort through the disorder within the self, to create a higher order of the self. Then we understand and recognize the gift that we give to others, because as we do that work, it immediately becomes reflective, not only in the way that we conceive things, but in the way that we energetically communicate, the way we're able to effectively do things, the way that it's like we can't, it's understanding the integrity that we find within that effectively has its space in terms of being able to identify and recognize and finding it everywhere without. And so I feel like that's a lot of that energy that's articulating and saying to each other, it starts with the self. And I'm seeing that they're healing, right? They're healing from unhealthy relationships by which another person articulated that work was self-absorbed. Because an unhealthy relationship will always articulate that the things that you would bring into a healthy one are the problem. Continuing to get clarification between our 3 of Cups and the 10 of Cups in its upright. One card to clarify for those moon relationships. Page of Cups in its upright. And I like that Page of Cups in its upright because this is the energy that is feeling the expansion point. I feel like a lot of these moon relationships right now are feeling a lot of that energetic expansion. And the expansion I keep on seeing has to do with their reticence in coming into relationship, right? I told you, these relationships were coming together during the retrograde cycle when all of those planets were in retrograde. Anxiety or fear of coming into connection, we're now seeing why. Because I see, it feels like a lot of these relationships have had wounds in terms of energy trying to articulate that their purpose damaged partnership. And they're learning now, and this is what they're seeing, healthy purpose never damages relationship if someone shares the same purpose as we do. And that doesn't mean, right, that doesn't mean that they have to have the same exact purpose as us. But the recognition and the identification point in holding our purpose as preciously as we do allows the modality of being able to build into the energetic expansiveness in relationality to being able to articulate and feel that same sense of pride and joy for the purpose of counterpart. Final card for today's spread, moving towards those temperance relationships, clarification between the Eight of Pentacles in its upright and that Page of Cups in its upright. Seven of Cups in its upright. What a beautiful spread that we have here today. So let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing. And the hard part about this, and I keep on getting this is a lot of the temperance energy, recognizing and identifying what it feels to be in harmony, not just within harmony of the self, but harmony as it relates to the energy around us, right? Because, and I feel like that's what's really hard here, and I need to point this out, that Four of Pentacles is a little bit of like, that is the hard part for some of those temperance energies, right? Because the modality or the experience by which that energy has also had to work into, and I keep on hearing this, the space by which energy works really hard every day, right? Like these temperance energies are like workhorses. They put that effort in, right? There's no half measures that I'm seeing with these temperance relationships, right? And I keep on seeing that these are the energies that say they go hard because they go strong, right? And I keep on hearing this energy say, how can you go strong? Like, how can you get stronger if you don't go hard in the process, right? The modality by which they have a tendency of being very, very energetically hard on themselves, even to the state by which they hold themselves to a slightly higher standard, right? Like, they recognize that they're I can see the energy going, I have a vulnerability. I held myself to a ridiculously high standard, right? But here's the important thing about it, and this is why it's healthy. They understand that it is an exceptional standard, right? They don't try to put that standard on those around them, right? They don't hold, even if they hold themselves to a ridiculously high standard, they don't do that to those around them. Is what I keep on hearing. It's okay to do, like, this is the caveat that we often talk about. It's okay, right? It's okay sometimes to hold yourself to a ridiculously high standard, so long as you recognize that you're doing it and you're not putting others through it. Okay, so long as you're doing it and you recognize that you're not putting others through it, because that is the modality by which it becomes an energetic gift for all of those around the self, right? And so that's why I see that this energy works towards the space by which they themselves feel energetically supported. Because when we build a supportive system that sees us in that capacity, then it's a modality by which, right? It's a modality by which we work to see each other effectively do the best that we energetically can. And so I keep on getting that for a lot of that energy working through in that way, it's building into the space by which the hard part is them coming through any trauma by which they feel. Like, I feel like the hard part about this energy is even as they're doing everything as hard as they can, they're worried about letting others down. And I almost see the energy that like cares about them, like in the modality of that, saying you couldn't let anyone down if you tried, because like it's evident. I keep wondering, it's evident in everything you do, how hard you are energetically working. Bottom of the deck on this reading with the King of Wands in its reversal. Let's talk a little bit about the King of Wands in its reversal here. And I want to describe, so the thing that we see often, and I need to articulate this and amplify it, the King of Wands in its reversal can often talk towards the space of recognizing and understanding that the most important thing that we have to do when we're working towards a healthy manifestation goal is letting go of the way that we expect it to effectively arrive to us. This is often what we identify as the energetic block, because we understand that sense, when we're in a healthy space, we try to hold control within. We don't try to exert it without, right? The control that we work to understand, and this is the identification point, right? We understand the control within, because when we don't feel secure within ourselves, and you can usually see this, energy that does not feel secure within themselves will often be able to be seen because they try to control everything and everyone outside of the self, right? It's often amplified from, it starts with a lack of safety. It starts from fear, right? It starts from the fear of the insecurity that we haven't healed within ourselves that make us see the world, and how we perceive things is what we manifest, right? So if we start with fear, If we start with looking at the world from a point of fear, what is the first thing you're logically going to try to do? You're going to start trying to control everything around the self, failing to recognize that when you have a fear-based mind mentality, and then you start trying to control everything around you, you become the source of fear in everybody around you, because nobody wants to be energetically controlled, right? And the modality by which we recognize that tendency with us is how we heal collectively, right? Because often the space being like, I just need to do something like that, it's a fear. It's a fear, it's a fear. Right? There's that fear, right? And our ability of recognizing our fear is how we heal our relationship to our fear, right? And when we're in a good space with our fear, and you guys, you know how I'm going to say, I'm going to invoke the creepy child. Like when we're in a healthy space with our fear, we can look at our fear almost like, again, the inner child healing, where we look at our fear as a creepy child, right? And sometimes a creepy child pulls on your shoulder and you're like, oh my God, what are you doing here? You're like, I got to show you something. And be like, what do you want to show me? And you're like, I made this, right? And then the creepy child shows you something and it's insane. It's completely wild, right? And you go, there's nothing I can do about that. And you go, you know what, buddy, that's great. We're going to go put it over here. We're going to go put it over here on in a special place, right? The space by which we put that. But sometimes our fear tugs on us and we go, whoa, what are you doing here? You're like, I want to show you something. You're like, what do you want to show me? And then they show you something reasonable. They show you something actionable. You say, you know what? Thank you, buddy. Thank you, fear. That was very helpful. You know what? We can do something about that. And then we work to alleviate our fear. And all of it starts with finding the capacity and understanding to feel our feelings, right? The first thing we have to understand, and this is why we often talk about, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Because when we allow fear to inform our decisions, we become the source of fear in the lives of those around us. So I feel like that's a lot of the energy that says, right? Even in the modality of articulating our fear, it's not the space by which we allow the fear to overwhelm us, but the action by which we take, right, proportional efforts in working to alleviate it, that allows us to be able to heal collectively. And it starts with the self, and it then expands in the relationships that we build around the self. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and receiving these messages. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I'll never DM you, I'll never PM you, I'll never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site, so I would encourage you to do it there. A couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the World Card. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, February 18th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the court cards of the Sword Suite. We'll be studying the history of the cards, the symbology. I'll be working you through spread applications, how to read those cards in any direction they may appear in your own readings. I'll also be presenting you a unique spread to help you channel the messages of that card into your own reading. And all you need to do if you'd like to become a part of that class program is mosey on over to my Stack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. It's not necessary to catch up. I'll be giving you an update on everything we've studied prior to beginning each class, but the material is there for you to receive as you're ready to receive it. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything we've learned and studied thus far. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive a discount on the whole year's worth of classes, but you'll also receive access to over 20 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive, as well as the opportunity of receiving a complimentary mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage, moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings and services. I would also encourage you to head over to my Stack. Today is the last day to be able to pre-register for our tarot retreat that we'll be hosting in Italy, August 8th through 13th. I'd like to invite you to join me as we travel through Italy to learn more about the cards in the context of the culture by which the tarot was first documented to be discovered, sharpening our tarot skills and also learning more about the culture by which the tarot was able to grow and thrive. Everyone who participates in that retreat will not only be receiving one-on-one classwork with me, but will also have the opportunity of receiving a complimentary mentorship class with me as well. And if you sign up today, and today alone, you'll be able to get that $200 discount that will be applied to your deposit. You don't have to contribute the full amount today, but that's just enough to be able to secure your spot. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly, or as a monthly tarot series, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits. Also, for my students that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. And I'm very happy to now offer dream interpretation readings, which you can purchase per dream or as a series. If you purchase a series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again on Monday. That is our daily collective read. We are going to get started on personal readings. Congratulations to Alexandra. You got our highest gifter today. And if anybody else wants to get on the list today, I'll probably only take 1 or 2 more people today before the list will be closed. 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. Also, Alexandra, if you're okay with it, I would like to request that we do the 1 card readings before we get started on your personal. I am having, I'm not going to be on as long today, so I want to make sure that we have enough room to be able to accommodate the personal readings. I'm also going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Excellent. And thank you, Dada, for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. Good to see you today, Evox. Hope you're having a beautiful day as well. And thank you for the follow, Ashley. Stacy, thank you for the follow too. Laurel, thank you for those heart me's. Happy Saturday, Alexandria Shipley. Welcome. Welcome, Avatar. Hope you're having a beautiful start to your day. And thank you as well. Mary, I'm happy to read for that. If you'd like to get on the list, list is open. Or if you'd like to become a super fan, you can, I can draw 1 card on it. Thank you. And 1 moment, please. Absolutely. I like that. Trusting our instinct and filling our cups, Evox. Tap to claim. Good to see you. Greetings, Dr. Genuine. I hope you're having an absolutely beautiful start to your day. Dawn, my emotions are everywhere, trying to control them and focus on what I want. Allow yourself the space to feel them. This is going to continue to intensify as we get closer to eclipse season. It is a great center card, isn't it, Evox? I agree. This spread today is stunning. Hi there from Missouri. Good to see you. Jethro, I'm not sure what, I mean, that seems like a very harsh view and relationality to it. I'm not sure what you're implying in relationality to a bill, as it were. I honestly have to be honest, I really don't think spirit deals in the space of bills. That's a very human concept. Yeah, but Virgo sun, Virgo rising. Yep, Libra moon. I love that energy though. Absolutely, Ivana. All right, where were we? Oh my God, dream. I know the dream space. I wouldn't be surprised if your dream space is insane right now, Rue. It's gonna continue right now, especially when we got Saturn moving into Aries as well. There might be a lot of conflict coming up in the dream space. I've been doing a lot of dreams, a lot of shadow work dreams coming up right now. So again, just a reminder, if you ever want a dream interpreted, you can include that in the notes when you send the donation, or you can post it in our subscriber only disco channel in the appropriate channels. Yeah, the dreams are a bit like, what was that about type of vibe. Yeah, it's gonna, I have to tell you, like, not 9 out of the 10 dreams I'm getting right now are shadow work dreams. There's so much shadow work coming up. But this is the thing, when we recognize it's shadow work, we can navigate it appropriately. Yeah. One place to another. Yeah, scenarios and different people. It's like, I feel like the dreams are kind of on speed dial right now. Hi there, Virgo. CC, Virgo, married to a Pisces. I like a Virgo Pisces. A Virgo Pisces, as long as they're healed, can be really beautiful and harmonizing, because you complete each other. But you need to be healed. You need to be healed. And that's the thing again. And the one thing I like to describe, and I've always see this with those with like Virgo or Pisces, who are Pisces, often the way by which you want to live your day to today becomes the conflict point, right? Like it often, and it's interesting too, because it has more to do, right? It has more to do with the speed by which you want to live your life is what I keep on getting, especially, and that's the hard part, because often, and like that's what we see with like Virgo and Pisces, like the Pisces wanting to get more and more eclectic, Virgo wanting to get more and more more and more minimal, is often what I see that becomes an energetic conflict between a Virgo and Pisces union. And often I see this, they'll sometimes separate and still stay very fast friends, right? The modality by which somebody says like, we've decided we're better off like not together, but we still care about each other. I've seen this frequently in Virgo Pisces pairings. Trying to control your rage right now, I understand, dear. But again, remember, the way we temper our rage is by putting it into active effort. And Breeze, thank you for the follow. Good to see you today, Dada. It is such a great center card. Yes, good to see you too. And Mindy, thank you for those heart me's, guys. Please remember your heart me's if you'd like to recharge if you'd like to have an animal spirit guide card on top of your one card. How are you doing today, Addie? Good to see you as well on the place where we keep the videos. Please remember, if you're a paid member there, you will also be entitled to a free one card reading each day. Absolutely. Everybody deserves a break. True. You know, the moon gets a little bit further away from Earth every year. No. Now I have to live with that disturbing information. Thank you for that, Evox. That's fascinating. Yep, it's still important. Centimeters are centimeters. Yep, the work. Tap to claim. Good to see you, Dr. Genuine. Thank you for those heart me's. And thank you. I always love Avatar just shows up giggling. Happy Saturday, Shipley. And Stacy, thank you for the follow. Ashley, thank you for the follow. Ask and you shall. Excellent. Hi there, Cece. Good to see you. Acceptance. Good with the bad. There is some Virgo energy in this reading, but I don't mind. It's like healthy Virgo energy. Adjusting my crown. I like that. Making moves. I like that too. And again, I apologize for that individual who came into the chat. I had to mute them. Again, no fear-based mentality coming into the chat space. And again, I apologize. You guys had to navigate that. Yep. Thank you as well, Evox. I hear that. Don't hold your, yeah, like that. Don't hold, we in a healthy space, we never have to hold ourselves hostage. Like, that's the truth of it. Yes, we have to respect each other's purpose. Mutual respect is the baseline. Tap to claim. Cat tends to always feel like the completion to me. No, and this is nice too. And I got to say, this is a heck of a read today, because we've got 3 of the 4 10 cards out, which is a lot. That is very significant. And the same, and I want to say the same with the 6s. Yep, balance and easy flow. Exactly, Ivana. Yep, thank you, Evox. Reciprocity is a beautiful thing. And Denio, thank you for sharing the live, and thank you for the follow. Mohammed, thank you for the follow as well. We are not our thoughts, but I mean, it's true that we're not our thoughts, but we can also make sure that we're cultivating our thoughts, right? We're thinking about things in positive, productive ways. I love that center card too. It's a very good balance. This spread is it's very nuanced and balanced today. It's very sophisticated. That's why I said that there feels like there's some Capricorn energy in it. And Dada, thank you for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. Oh, thank you, Evox. I do my best. And thank you for being here and receiving these messages. Thank you as well, Carla. Hi there, Nicola. To pay for a question. I first of all, I'm sending you a lot of support on that journey right now. These are donation-based readings. So there are 3 cards for a donation of $29 for non-subscribers. I also do 1 card readings for super fans each day daily. The list is very short today, so there is a possibility, like I'm probably going to be closing the list. I can probably take maybe 1 more person on the list today, but if you want to get on tomorrow, I mean, if you want to get on Monday, I'll have more time as well. But either way, regardless of whether you want to do that in a personal reading or not, I do pet readings, and I'm sending you so much support on that journey. Absolutely. And thank you, Laurel. You're so welcome, Carla. Carla, childhood wounds exhibit themselves in adulthood in sometimes unhealthy ways. I'm learning this. But here's the thing. Recognition of that allows us to be able to do something different, right? It takes time. It takes a lifetime to heal some of those wounds. Hi, Pops. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you, dear. How are you? Thank you for stopping in. Absolutely. And Suntan, thank you for becoming the 108th fan today. Excellent. I like Virgo energy. But here's the thing, Virgo and Capricorns, like that, yeah, like Virgo and Capricorns have a lot of that positivity between them, you know? As long as they're not stepping on each other's toes. Howdy, Dada. Good to see you. Hi there, Yaz. Yes. Okay. So Yaz has gotten on the list, and the list is now closed. We're keeping the list very short today, my friends. So if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, you'll be read for on Monday. You'll also have an additional card in the reading, and you'll also get priority. You'll be read for before we start Monday's daily collective. All right. Let's continue right now. The first person that we're reading for today, so that we're going to do things a little bit differently right now, my friends, because I have a little bit of shortened time. We're going to be doing the 1 card readings for super fans before we get started on the personals. So if you are a super fan and would like a card pulled, go ahead and let me know your question, and I'll go ahead and answer, and we'll do the super fans now. And if you would like to have an animal spirit guide card on top of your 1 card, make sure that you're recharging your heart maze if you are a super fan. If you'd like to become a super fan and become eligible for 1 card, all you need to do is hit that button at the bottom of the screen, and your super fan status will entitle you to a card. And if you're joining us over on the place where we keep the videos, your paid membership will also entitle you to a card as well. And also my apologies to anybody who's joining us on the place where we keep the photos. I'm continuing to have feed issues there. I'm also continuing to have issues being able to post the live videos. So if you're waiting or you're looking for yesterday's video, if you're on IG, I would encourage you to head over to either the place where we keep the videos or over on the Clock app if you want to, or over on the Stack if you want to watch that full video. And again, my apologies to those who are experiencing those issues over on IG. All right, where were we? Julia, 1 card, highest and best, please. So Julia, I feel like there's something important that's coming through in relationality to this, specifically and particularly as it relates to what it feels like to be cared for. And I feel like it's almost giving you a little bit of homework, right? I keep on seeing, I keep on getting strong messages that this is a time by which you're finding your soul family. And so I want you to make sure that you're doing a lot of work to write down what it means, what it would be to be in a healthy environment, what it would feel like to you to be safe, seen, and supported. Bottom of the deck, especially with the Wheel of Fortune, right? If you're not, I keep wondering, you're not lost. This is a sound of you finding that. And that's why it's important to write it down, because I feel like something about you being able to identify and recognize what it feels like is going to help nourish you moving towards that manifestation goal. Animal spirit guide on this reading. You're not late. You're never late for your own journey, right? And I feel like that, and I keep on, oh, and it's interesting too, because as I went to read for that, all of these cards fell to the ground, and I keep on hearing this is you, this is your, I keep on hearing this is your manifestation working for you in ways that you can't imagine, because it's showing you others' true intentions, right? Even in this, a blessing. Highest priority for age. You got 2 cards coming through. Thank you for being the second highest gifter today, age. 2 cards that we have coming through. Wow, Temperance in its reversal and King of Pentacles in its reversal. Somebody locked themselves out of your life, right? It feels to me like somebody was trying to lower the bar in relationality to what you expected from them, and they just locked themselves out of your life. Bottom of the deck, yeah. We've got the Wheel of Fortune again, right? I miss you is an accountability, right? The modality by which another person articulates to you, like I feel like it's almost somebody who wants to come back towards you, but they realize like it's like it almost feels to me like you told somebody what was happening, right? And they came into denial about it, and now it's like they recognize that the only way that they can come back towards you is if it's like the double they I keep wondering, like, this is what happens when somebody locks themselves out of their life. You gave them the opportunity to be honest with you, and they denied it, and they recognize that the only way that they can come back towards you is being able to articulate that you were right about something. Animal spirit guide. Yeah, especially with that sow energy. I wouldn't be surprised if that energy is hovering in some way, trying to let you know that they're still thinking about you, is what I keep on seeing, but this is why they're not talking to you. One moment, please. We still do the 50K giveaway. Oh, we are going to do the 50K giveaway. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, Pops. We'll do that after we do the 1 cards. Excellent. Thank you guys for helping us get to that so quickly. One moment. Ivana, 1 card on that angelic, yep, guidance. So here's the thing with that particular angelic, there are angelics that are very, very patient. There are angelics that are profoundly patient, and then there's some angelics that are not. And when I articulate that something that is energetically changed is the modality by which this angelic is around you, is remember the messages that I gave you. Like, this is a type of energy that does not, like, it's like they do not tolerate, like, and it's not related to you. Like, it's saying to me they don't tolerate situations, like, and it's interesting too, because it's like somebody doing something towards you that's like another person, like it's like they don't know what they've done, is what I keep on, like, Hierophant in its reversal. Like, how do I even explain? It's very complicated, but the best way I can articulate this is when I when I say the energetic projection of hands off to a certain extent, is it almost feels like, and it's funny too, because when they say hands off, they're saying it in a space by which they're saying that they don't want you. Like, I need to point this out. One of the reasons that energy is working with you is to help you with your anxiety. And I just want to tell you, like, the modality by which another person is creating anxiety for you, like, it's that is what I keep on seeing, right? It's like, it's like when I say it's a drama-free zone, like they're saying don't worry, like, I just keep on hearing they're taking care of it. It's being it's being taken care of, and I'm like, okay. Alexandra, 1 card on love, please. You know, it's funny too, because now that I've connected with this divine counterpart, I keep on hearing there's a quality about this divine counterpart that you're going to energetically pick up on. They like to be alone in public spaces, is what I keep on hearing. They like to be alone in public spaces. They like to work surrounded by the sound, is what I keep on hearing. Bottom of the deck, yeah. They're very focused on, they're on the hunt for immaculate vibes. They're searching for an aesthetic, is what I keep on seeing. Like, they're trying to set the mood. I don't know if they write, is what I keep on getting. There might be a little bit of that type of energy around someone. Yeah, because it feels like it's interesting too, because like I keep on hearing like it's giving me a lot of like cat energy, and someone being like, yeah, that like the mood, like like looking for like the right mood in terms of like somewhere that they're trying to work. Like I see somebody actively doing that right now. They might have just moved, is what I keep on hearing. Yeah, as one card, highest and best, please. We've got here the Page of Wands in its reversal. And so what we're effectively identifying with this Page of Wands in its reversal is, and I want you to recognize this, it feels like a continuation of our reading that we did the other day. As it relates to, how do I describe this? I feel like there's a lot of energy around you that recognizes or feels the capacity of having. It's like I keep on hearing someone say, I didn't just fail you. I failed myself, is what I keep on hearing from someone. Yeah, like this 10, and I need to stress this. It's a continuation of understanding like the 10 of cups in its reversal, you know? Like when we are too deep, and it's interesting too, because I feel like it's somebody who's recognizing, like I feel like it's somebody recognizing that they need to get help with something, you know? Like it almost feels to me like there's somebody around you who recognizes they need to get help with something because they're looking at, like they're looking back upon something and asking themselves, like somebody's asking them like what happened between you and them literally saying they were too perfect, right? But that's what's so painful about it. Like we shouldn't have a space by which we say to somebody else like they were too perfect, because it's almost like it feels like somebody who recognizes that that was available to them, but they like when someone says they're too perfect, I feel like they're recognizing in the same space by which you're saying it, they're saying I shunned effort, right? Like it's not that you are too perfect, they shunned effort. Animal spirit guide. Yeah, the earth dragon. Like somebody who realizes that their incapacity to change like broke the relationship between you and them. It feels like a really harsh reality check in some way. um I know I also am going back to Alexandra in relationality to an animal spirit guide. Yeah, it's the otter energy, and I think that's interesting too, because the otter energy that I'm picking up around someone has to do like, it's interesting because like I feel like there's somebody who feels instinctually protective, um like as it relates to, um like this is not the type of person that's going to start a conversation, is what I see. you know like I feel like it's almost like I keep on hearing like this is a type of energy that, like, I remember when I said, like, I keep on getting, and I just want to stress this, like cat energy. You ever notice a cat will never immediately come to you for attention. They just get closer and closer, is what I keep on hearing. They get closer and closer, being like, like, is this okay? Is this okay? there's there's something about that energy that I'm picking up on. Yep. Yep. And I've got Estevan here. One card surrounding that person, please. We've got the Temperance card in its reversal. They second guess themselves. You know, I've got some type of energy here that has a little bit of this quality of second guessing themselves. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, like I also see somebody like there's something I'm seeing there in relationality to, like, um like working, like I see somebody who's also like really, really, really busy, right? And I feel like, how do I describe this? Like it feel if you're waiting to hear back from someone, I feel like they have every intention of reaching back to you, but I keep on hearing somebody saying like they don't want to respond until they've had time to absorb, is what I keep on hearing. They don't want to respond until they have time to absorb. So the ability of someone like not just wanting to like shoot back something quickly, but have the time to like really put some thought into something is what I keep on picking up upon. I can take one more person on the list, Estevan, if you'd like to get on it. Yes. All right. And thank you, dear. Yes, it's interesting how whenever I ask for the highest message, I'm always talking. But I think it's important too, because like, I feel like the thing that I keep on seeing here, and the reason it keeps on coming through is because I feel like I see a situation by which you're questioning yourself, or you're working to the space of like doubt. Like it's saying to me, like I keep on hearing the guys trying to say, what happened is having it's having a healthy impact on someone, is what I keep on seeing. You know, it is funny. Though they're not consciously taking a lot of mental space, so it's always a surprise. Yeah, absolutely. One card on Joey for Shipley. I see somebody in the process of moving or making a decision to move, is what I keep on seeing. Yeah, like something about them, like if now or never kind of energy, or they're seriously thinking about it. Animal spirit guide, yeah, Ram. Like if not now, when? Like it's feeling like somebody, like someone trying to turn a negative into a positive. All right. Ava, I didn't see. Hold on. No, it's okay, dear. Yep, I see it there, Ava. One card on that energy, please. I see somebody thinking about you a lot. Having a lot of time to think. They're doing something where they're having a lot of time to think. Yeah, this Wheel of Fortune, like, does not want to leave the bottom of the deck, which is somebody, like, I keep on hearing, like, somebody who keeps thinking a lot about the last conversation that they had with you or the last time they saw you. Yeah, the otter energy, like somebody like overthinking, like, what they should have done differently or what they should have said, like it's somebody, like I feel like there's a little bit of this like, you know what I mean? Like that type of energy. All right, we're going to continue right now. We're going to get into personals. So the first person we're reading for today is Yaz. Yaz, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you would like a general reading. Oh, I'm sorry, Ruby, I didn't see yours come through. Oh, and we have to do the 50K. Thank you guys for helping me. Okay. Ruby, can you repost yours, dear? And I'll be happy to answer it. And then we'll do the 50K, and then we'll do then we'll get to personals. One card on them, please. I see somebody who's kind of adrift right now, like they're in between things. They're not really sure what to do. Yeah, Queen of Cups. I feel like it's also somebody who's like, I don't know why. Like, I don't know why I'm picking up. I don't know why I keep on picking up something. Like somebody feels like an outside relationship damaged something professionally. I almost see somebody getting into a conflict with someone being like, what did you do? Like they can't shake, I keep on hearing they can't shake the feeling. I feel like I keep on hearing someone say they can't shake the feeling that somebody was in the space of having done something that damaged something else, is what I keep, not you, is what I keep on seeing, but someone else is what I keep on getting. All right. So basically, I said the list was closed, but I just found out I have a little bit more time, Esteban. So if you wanted to get on the list, I can accommodate another person on the list to clarify. Nana, these are one card readings for superfans. So if you'd like to become a superfan, I'm happy to draw a card for you. You just need to hit the bottom of the screen, the button at the bottom of the screen, and become a superfan. So we're also, thank you guys so much. We got to our 50K giveaway. We're going to be gifting a reading back to the collective. I am thinking of a number right now between 1 and 32. First person I see that posts a number will get the reading. First person I see, not the first person that posts it. Sometimes I see things in a different order than you guys post them. Congratulations, Yaz, you got the reading. We'll do that again when we get to 100K likes. And in the meantime, that'll be available to you starting tomorrow. We're going to get started on Yaz's reading, but I need to step away for a moment. When we get back, we'll get started on the readings. I've got room on the list for one more person today, and I'll be right back. And if you get on the list and while I'm away, let me know in the comments. Thank you. All right, where were we? Dun-dun-dun. Okay, I'm back. Yes. Excellent. And congratulations, Yaz. Where were we? Got on the list. Thank you for confirming, Esteban. And the list is now closed. And if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, you'll be the first person read for on Monday, and you'll also have an additional card in your reading. All right. Okay, where were we? And so the first person, hold on a minute, just reading over. Did you see how many people posted 13? It was wild. I love when I see you guys all posting the same thing at the same time. Absolutely amazing. And thank you as well, Victoria. Excellent. All right, we're going to get started. And thank you, Nana, for the follow. Yaz, can you let me know if we're doing a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer? And before we continue, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10. And when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the ram. Thank you for participating. We'll do it again after the next reading. We've been getting the ram so much. Ever since everything's been moving into Aries. All right. And Yaz, what are we reading on today? And thank you for getting on the list. I'm going to read the list now for anybody who is on the list. The list we have right now is Yaz, Alexandra, and Esteban. I think I could probably take one more person. I could probably take one more person on the list before we have to close the list. If there's anybody else who wants to get on the list today. Okay. I have to laugh every time I'm way off, but that's the way you get better at it, right? All right, let's continue right now. One moment, please. Okay. All right. And just bear with me a moment before we get started. Okay, there we go. How you doing today, Victoria? So Victoria, these are donation-based readings. So we're either doing, so it's 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more for non-subscribers. Or if you'd like to become a super fan, we do a free 1 card each day for anyone who's a super fan. I hope that helps, dear. Sent it through email. I got you, dear. Just bear with me a moment. Let me just pull up your question. And just a reminder to anybody joining us, if you have information that you feel is relevant for the purposes of our reading, if you have a dream that you would like interpreted, or if you have a past life that you would like more information on, you can include it in the notes when you send the donation. You can also post it in our subscriber-only Disco channel in the appropriate channels. I'm not seeing the email. Yes. So you might need to double check to make sure that it was sent. Because I'm not seeing it on my end. Oh, there it is. Never mind. Okay. Is this inside tea or outside tea? Hi there, Miranda. Good to see you. I'm doing well. How are you doing today, dear? Outside tea. Thank you. Okay. Buckle up. My question for today was concerning 2 events that happened recently related to child spirits. The first was a white orb jumping and dancing around me as I was sleeping. I caught it on my home camera, and when I asked you about it through a 1 card shortly after, you mentioned it was a child spirit wanting to remind me that I'm not alone and I matter. Following this, a few days ago, as I was drifting to sleep, I started hearing a very vivid giggles and children laughing in my ears. I then heard them say things such as, "Oh my goodness, Mommy, we want to come and be with you. We want to arrive," which was so peculiar and sweet, and a lot of giggles and laughter. They said they were 4 boys and 1 girl. Clarity on these events, please. That's 3. And thank you for being the first person on the list today. You'll be getting additional card. Good Lord. Thank you. Whoa. That is very specific. Hold on a minute. So I need to stress this, because something like I have to stress this. So what I'm picking up upon here, and I just want to be clear, um, it feels to me that 3 of these energies are already present. There's only one in spirit right now. There's only one in spirit. And the way we're getting confirmation on that was the fact that you said that you saw one orb. Okay? And we're getting further like inferences on this in the space by which I just keep on seeing this. It feels to me that there's going to be an energetic connection that you make and the possibility that your counterpart already has children. Because I just keep on getting the same message coming through. There's only one in spirit. The others are here. There's only one in spirit. The others are here. And that would be articulated and made clear in the message that you heard, right? Because the one energy that's effectively hovering around you right now is the energy of that child energy that I was articulating upon, right? The 3 other energies I'm seeing were the ones that were laughing and giggling, and it's telling because of what they said. Okay? They didn't say, "We want to come." They said, "We can't wait for you to arrive," is what I keep on hearing. We can't, and the fact, and this is the other reason why, because they articulated your name, and that is not usual. Okay? That is not usual. If somebody is the modality of being, if I keep wondering, if somebody's in the modality of being your primary maternal, you would not have to demarcate a name to indicate the maternal energy. So the modality by which you heard them say, they gave you the demarcation point, and then they utilized your name, was to demarcate the fact that they consider you a maternal energy, someone who's going to be maternally important to them. And the modality by which they said, "We want you to come to be with you," right? We want to come and be with you, right? We want to come and be with you. We can't wait for you to arrive, is the modality of understanding and recognizing. I keep on getting it's 3 very, very small energies, because small energies are often very, very connected to spirit. They're very, very tapped in, often in ways that they don't even realize, and you're catching them in their dream space, right? You're catching them when they're also falling to sleep, like coming to sleep. And the modality by which they're energetically connecting to you is the fact that I keep on seeing, like it's the fact that they're articulating that they're awaiting you in the future. And that's why you saw the clarification point. And that's why I had 3 of these cards come up and only one. Like if you look at these, right? Like I'll show you the cards so you can see them. I've got 3 cards here. Look at that. Those are 3 cards, and they're all related to travel, right? With the exception of the Hangman, right? And then we've got the 2 energies connected to you, right? This is you, and this is that orb energy that we're picking up on, the twinkle in your eye, right? That the orb is a twinkle in your eye, right? So that's the energetic connection of like the child energy that you're carrying with you. I would keep this in mind in relationality to anything that happens as it relates to divine counterpart, because I would not be surprised if you encounter the fact, like one of the things that you might recognize when you meet counterpart is if they have child energy in some way, shape, or form connected to them. It might not necessarily be absolutely directly through them, right? I need to stress this too. It might not necessarily be directly through them, but it's the identification point. And I like to point this out, like this is what we talk about with energetic, like soul family energy. Energy that's connected to us often feels that it is also connected to our relationships. So the modality by which, it's interesting because it feels like it feels like a little bit of a leapfrog moment that we're seeing. where you're not necessarily connecting divine counterpart, but you're energetically connecting to the child energy surrounding a divine counterpart that's finding its way to you, is what I keep on seeing, right? That it's finding its way to you, through the energetic connection. And I think it's interesting too, because it's actually saying to me they're finding themselves through you to the connection of the child energy that's connected to you, related to the divine counterpart, is what I keep on seeing. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. That's just something to be able to keep in your pocket, is what I keep on hearing. Something to keep in your pocket and keep your ears perked to, is what I keep on hearing. Keep it in your pocket and keep your ears perked. Because I keep on hearing one of the things that you're going to recognize is I keep on hearing that particular title, right? And I keep on getting the indication of someone's demarcating maternal energy, but also utilizing your name is the understanding of somebody that feels, I keep on hearing somebody that feels the need to have to delineate, is what I keep on hearing. That child energy is just someone is just, I mean, I feel like, again, you kind of recognize it. It's just gonna be it's just gonna be energetically following you around, right? It's nothing. I mean, I don't want to say it's nothing. It's nothing that you found. It's something that's connected to you, is what I keep on seeing. So just understanding and recognizing that, it feels very much like a spiritual child at this point. I'm going to give you some bottom of the deck energy, something to keep in mind going forward. Yeah, I feel like there's something very, I don't know why, but I almost feel like there's something in relationality to these, I keep on getting I keep on hearing the message that there's something about these children that are being supported by someone in spirit, is why they're so energetically tapped in, is what I keep on getting. Like the reason that they're so connected to spirit is because somebody's been telling you, somebody's been telling them about you, that they care about, which is really beautiful, is what I keep on seeing, because I keep on getting, it's giving me the message of somebody who's coming to someone in the dream space and saying, don't worry, right? And they're telling them about you because they need comforting about something, is what I keep on hearing. I keep on hearing somebody say that they're comforting someone by telling them about you, which is why they're so energetically eager. And I like to point this out, sometimes, like those in spirit, time works a little bit differently there. So the modality by which another person is almost like articulating to them about you, like arriving, is almost like I keep on getting, it's like it's saying to me, like it's trying to help energy in some kind of point of hardship, because they're articulating that there's something to energetically look forward to, is what I keep on seeing. It's interesting because I keep on hearing like there's a guardian spirit stepping forward that feels like it's feminine, that feels like it's trying to make energy, like it's saying to me, like they're trying to energetically help energy navigate something by articulating the fact that you'll be energetically arriving, is what I keep on saying. They might not be conscious of this. It feels like a lot of it's feeling like a lot of it feels like a lot of healing that's happening in the dream space. And if you had this all happen in the liminal space between sleep and dream, like that might be further confirmation, is what I keep on getting. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is open, is closed for today, but you can get on the list for tomorrow, and you'll be the first person. Not Monday. You'll get on the list for Monday, and you'll be the first person read for, and you'll also be read for before the daily collective begins. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as it was as it was reading. Yep, I got you, dear. It is super sweet. Yep. Yeah, you thought arrive was peculiar too. Like that be confirmation. Yeah, small energies. They like to describe. Yep. I'll definitely keep you updated. Yes, you saw that Wands energy. I can't stop smiling right now. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm seeing. Absolutely as. Yeah, the orb energy was the one in spirit. Yes, that was what I was picking up on. I kept on hearing the three are here, one's in spirit, which is why they said we can't wait for you to arrive. Yep. Yeah, this person in spirit, the person in spirit support. Yep, you got it. Yep, that's what I was. And that's what I keep on seeing. It's a maternal, it's a feminine guardian energy that's guarding some energy by articulate by telling them about you. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's really beautiful. It was really beautiful. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to read on it. You're so welcome as well, Maul, for receiving that reading. You know, this is, and I need to point this out, like this is what always becomes like difficult or hard to be able to see clearly when we're reading into energy, right? Like there's definitely somebody in spirit that's providing comfort to energy right now by articulating upon your arrival point, right? And the energy itself, like the modality by which they're articulating and saying that they can't wait to be with you, is the energy. And I feel like they might not be aware of them saying that. Like it's not like I'm going to point out, it's not like they know that in the terrestrial space. Like you're connecting with their spirit that is energetically like feeling the eagerness, like especially in the dream space, by which they're basically finding you and saying, like articulating that they've heard about you and they can't wait to meet you. Like that might not be something that they're aware of in the terrestrial space. It's something that's happening energetically. So I keep on hearing it's connected to divine counterpart. To be able to unlock how and why it is like that's the lived experience, as it were. That's the lived experience. It's going to be interesting to find out, right? Thank you so much. Yep, it is. It is fascinating, right? All right, we're going to continue right now. The next person, we're reading for today is we've got here Alexandra. You're so welcome, and thank you for allowing me to read for you on it. Alexandra, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And if anybody else, as I mentioned, the list is closed today, but we're also at 66.7K likes. When we get to 100K, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen and we'll get to 100K in no time. Thank you for confirming where the question is. Just a reminder, if you are a super fan or if you're a paid member over on the place where we keep the videos, you have access to our subscriber only disco channel. You can post your information there that is necessary for our readings. Or you can post it in the notes when you send the donation. Is this inside tea or outside tea? Outside, thank you. Okay, and before we continue, I'm going to warm up those, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10, and when we get to 1, I'll reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I got the cow. Emo cow. Emo cow. I love emo cow. All right. Can I please get 4 cards? Yep. And 2 more. So this feels like this feels like I feel like there's something that you're working to heal karmically in relationality, like in relationality to getting antsy is what I keep on seeing, and we're going to talk a little bit about it because I need to understand it too. How do I describe this? I feel like there's something integral that I want you to do as it relates to being able to recognize, right? As it relates to recognizing how long you remain in places. And it has to do with one of your guides, is what I keep on seeing. Because and I want to describe this, right? We're gonna talk a little bit about this because and it has to do with that vision that you see, right? And it's not working through like you should definitely be working towards that manifestation goal. But the question that I see that needs to be like the thing that I keep on seeing in relationality to something has to do like with working through and I keep on getting this like something in relationality to the word, like I keep on hearing the word impatient, and I don't mean that, and I don't feel like you're the one. I don't think that like okay, here I keep hearing this. It's very interesting because it feels like it's coming through a guide that's articulating the saying impatient is impassioned. Impassioned energy is impatient, which is the modality by which we recognize that we could be reaching something, but then we get frustrated because it's not happening as quickly as we energetically desire it to. And often what happens, right? And this is what I keep on getting because there's a lot of like there's something about perseverance that I'm energetically seeing here, which is working through, right? Like working into the space by which something is energetically possible, right? like the space by which, and I keep on getting this, it's like it's coming through very, very, and they're saying that it has something to do with your Aries placements, okay? Because I keep on hearing that when we're working towards a manifestation goal, we are perpetually fine-tuning it, is what I keep on getting. And do you see how my hand is doing this? See, my hand is moving like much like a clock. Like the modality by which we fine-tune is getting a little bit closer and closer and closer to it, right? It's the act that we navigate in relationality to perfecting. And I don't know why they're saying to me something about your Virgo being in detriment, right? And why is that? And I often see this with someone who carries Aries placements, right? Because it's a modality by which we're coming into the modality by which we're trying to fine tune. And the thing about Aries energy is Aries is all about room, right? Aries is like, I want to see it. Like, I want to, like, it's like, I just want to do it, right? And it's a modality by which we, like, it's like a lot of that, like that jump energy. And what sometimes happens, and I don't know why I keep on, and I don't know why I keep on hearing this in relationality to something, which says like strong Aries, Virgo, and detriment, which is the modality by which we understand. When I hear strong Aries, Virgo, and detriment, is the modality by which we often feel, right? When we're getting into the space by which we're fine tuning, and we're getting there closer and closer, and the anxiety, the impatience that we feel, right? The inches that it takes to reach that destination that's so close that we can taste it creates a modality that says, forget this, I'm going to go do something else, right? Like the modality by which we just push it away entirely, right? We push it away entirely and say, it's not here, I'm going to go somewhere else, meaning like, right? It's like it's often I like to describe it as like a board flipper energy, right? I don't mean that in a negative way, but if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Like board flipper energy, which is the modality by which you're like, I'm dumb. I don't want to do this anyway. I don't want to do this. This is stupid. I don't like that. I hate that now. No, I don't want to. No, I don't want to do that ever again. Right? And this is sometimes what happens. Right? This is sometimes what happens when I just keep on, like, that's all I keep on getting with like Aries, like strong Aries, Virgo, and detriment, because that's often the modality by which the Aries energy is like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. Right? So I want you to, and that's why I said, I want you to go look at your history. Is there a pattern in when you start getting sick of things and wanting to start again? Okay. And here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you can't do it, but I'm saying, why aren't you, what is stopping you? What is stopping the manifestation that you're currently in? Is this fine tune or start again? Because what you want to avoid, and this is what the guide is articulating, right? What you want to avoid is the space by which I keep on hearing Aries, strong Aries, Virgo, and detriment, right? You're getting very close to your goal, but it feels like it's never going to happen. It feels like it's really, really far away, right? And the modality by which you feel the anxiety in terms of the manifestation that's creeping ever closer, that you're actually very close to, right? You actually move further away from, because you get so frustrated by the fact that you're so close to it, that the anxiety that it creates in the fact that you can almost feel like it's real, but it's not there exactly, right? Almost creates a space by which you just want to say, and just walk away from something, instead of, I keep on hearing, giving it a bit more energy, right? Giving it a little bit more, right? Giving yourself, saying, I have to work through my energetic patience. Why do I not feel like that is happening? Because everything I keep on seeing is everything that you're doing right now. How is anything that you're doing right now a detriment to that manifestation goal? How is anything that you're doing right now a detriment to that manifestation goal? The word that you need to be conscientious with is the word that says completely different. You have to underline that word in your manifestation goal in red ink, because completely different isn't a manifestation goal. Where's your Gemini placement? Right? That is impatience, right? You're not saying to me in the manifestation goal, I want this. You're saying, I want something completely different, but you're not articulating what it is. And that That is the Aries, that is the strong Aries, Virgo in detriment, which can sometimes create the space by which we feel frustrated with something rather than saying, this is what I actually desire, right? So clarify that. Open those two words up is what I keep on hearing. Go back to the manifestation. Open those two words up, right? Oh, because I keep on hearing a good manifestation is going to show us qualities within ourselves that we need to heal through. And that modality of understanding that I want something completely different is not exact, right? Completely different, right? Gemini, like this is what often happens with those who have Gemini placements. Different is not a manifestation goal, right? And different sometimes articulates the fact that we're feeling an avoidance point, like we're feeling like there's something happening that we're hoping to avoid. And we say, oh, I'm tired of this. I want something. I gotta go. I'm feeling antsy. I'm feeling energetically antsy, right? So working into that, because I feel like what are we finding here, right? I feel like the guide is trying to the guide's trying to show you something and saying, be specific, because and again, especially with the proximity that I'm seeing of divine counterpart near you, we need to arrive into a place by which we grow. And if we have to go, it's because we recognize that the manifestation that we're hoping to achieve isn't possible where we are, right? That we don't want to allow the call for something different to make us have to start again, especially if we're getting very close to what it is that we're energetically finding, right? Bottom of the deck on this reading. Yeah. Right? Look, I keep on hearing, when have you felt like this before? Have you felt like this before? Have you felt like this before? Document the experiences where you felt like this before, right? Because now we're starting, like, I feel like in a way you're actually very close to a breakthrough right now. And we want to understand where this quality or feeling of wanting to change, like where is the desire to change coming from, right? This is the refinement of the manifestation goal. Thank you so much, dear, for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is closed today, but you can get on the list for for Monday, and you'll be the first person read for. 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps. 3 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We're also at 67.3K likes. When we get to 100K, I'll be gifting a reading back to the collective, so make sure you're tapping that screen, and we'll get to 100K in no time. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. All right. I do mediumship readings here. I love, the list is closed today, but if you wanted to get on the list for Monday, you'd have first priority in terms of being read for. That said, I'm sending you so much support on that journey of healing. Thank you for the help, Yvonne. I appreciate you. And thank you for the follow. I love. North Node, my Mars is in Virgo. Thank you. Yeah, that'll do it. Mars is in Virgo. Yep. Yeah, Mercury and Saturn in Aries. That would explain. Yeah, the strong Aries, Virgo, and heavy Aries, Virgo in detriment. Virgo. Yeah, Mars and Virgo will do that. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for confirming. I don't, yeah, I know, I see it. Yeah, you don't, I know, I get that. I told you, it's like, again, but you understand that that's what I mean, right? When you want to make sure that when you're feeling frustrated, right, when you're getting closer to a goal, and I keep on hearing like the anxiety lifts because you feel the fact that something's changing. You don't say, I'm done with this, right? You are able to effectively push through. You're able to push through the anxiety in recognizing that you're actually closer. I wouldn't be surprised if you're someone who like literally gets to almost the point by which you're about to beat something, and then if that's the quality by which you literally almost get to the end, and then like that is going to be further confirmation on it. Yep. Yeah, the shift into Saturn and Aries will help, right? Because Saturn and Aries talks about we persevere, right? Like it's talking about like the space by which like when things are changing, it starts to create that feeling in us, right? The transformational quality. Yeah, very interesting. I do feel like it feels stagnant, you see, and that's what I keep on hearing. Stagnant or the irritation of transformation occurring, right? Like is it stagnancy or is it the feeling of being so close to something that you can almost taste it? Right? Like that's what we need to clarify for. Thank you, dear. All right, we're going to continue right now. The next person on the list today is Esteban. Esteban, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. All right, and as I mentioned, the list is closed today, but if you want to get on the list for Monday, you'll be the first person read for. And here's the thing, there's stagnancy, like, and here's the thing, we want to make sure, and I need to point out that this is what I need to stress though. Like Alexandra articulated that she's doing that during video games. There's nothing stagnant about a video game, but when we get frustrated, we get infuriated at our own stagnancy, right? Like this is often what happens, and this is what I meant with Virgo in detriment in Aries, right? The modality by which the environment around us isn't stagnant, but we're getting frustrated at ourselves is what we keep on saying, right? The modality by which we get too hard on ourselves that makes us push away instead of being able to kind of like find that sense of energetically recognizing and identifying what it is we're persevering for, right? Yep, I got you, dear. And before we continue right now, we're going to do another intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. I'm going to count back from 10. And when I get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the B. Thank you for participating. We'll do that again after the next reading. And I'm going to pin up Esteban here. Guys, make sure to give Esteban some love. Can I get 4 cards, please? Highest priority messages. So I don't know the age of this person, but and I feel like it's saying to me like I hear, and the reason I want to identify like the reason I'm not saying like I'm not saying actual age, I'm talking about spiritual age, because they're a lot younger than you. Regardless of their age, it's saying to me that they're a lot younger than you, and you know what I'm talking about, you know. And the thing I want to identify, and this is what's important, is young energy sentimentalizes, has this like tendency of sentimentalizing, like, and I feel like it has a bit to do with the environment by which, like, it also feels like they haven't healed some trauma, you know. We don't sentimentalize brutality. is what I keep on seeing. And I think that that's something really important, because I see somebody that has a lot of trauma in relationality to someone, like, I just keep on seeing. Like, and this is why we do not like, and this is why I keep on hearing, a trauma informed mindset will lead you to places that other people would not go with a weapon. Okay? I just need to stress this. A trauma informed mindset would lead you to places that other people would not go with an army. You know, and it's often the space by which we identify and say, but I know underneath there's care, is what I keep on getting. And it's like, yeah, like, honey, sweetheart, like, yeah, there is, but there's a lot of like, if somebody's care is so distorted that you need to get out a thesaurus to be able to find the care, right? If somebody's way of showing care is so complicated and confusing that you have to explain it to another, right? And this is often what happens when you come from a trauma environment. If you have to literally sit there and walk someone through why something someone is doing to you, like what someone is doing to you, is actually love in disguise, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if there is a grain of love underneath all of the like the garbage, right? Like underneath all of the terribleness in relationality. And this is often what happens, because what happens in a trauma environment, right? Those sweet moments are what pin us to a miserable experience. Like, that is the sound of trauma occurring, right? Those sweet moments that are few and far between are literally what pin us to an absolutely miserable existence, right? And that's often what you see with someone who's in a really traumatizing space. Be like, yeah, well, like, once every blue moon, like once every 7 years, like when the light shines a certain way, I can see the modality of care that comes out, and it makes up for all of those times, the rest of everything that's awful, those sweet little, no. And this is what we understand. And when we see somebody in this trauma informed mindset, we say, do you recognize that there's a relationship by which those sweet moments that you're waiting for could be literally the whole thing? Could be every single minute just being good. I want you to imagine it. It could be amazing. But the hard part is when somebody is sentimentalizing, right? When somebody is in the space by which they are waxing poetic on barbarous behavior, when somebody's like waxing poetic on the space by which they have to say, oh, but you don't understand, there's been like this one or two instance that's been amazing, being like, yeah, that's exactly what a trauma environment does. Why would you stay somewhere, like, why would anyone stay anywhere if there weren't those like little moments that make it worthwhile? But that's often the space by which you literally recognize a trauma environment. The minute that you have to say that your relationship has like, oh, everything's awful, but those little moments making it worthwhile, like, alarm bell, right? Alarm bell. And so I see somebody working through that. And what's hard about that is I see somebody that recognizes it, right? I see somebody trying to do the hard work of letting something go. And I can see somebody like, and I feel like this is the message I would give to this person if I'm reading for them, right? The modality by which, and this is often the falsity that we also get through in the space of trauma, right? The modality by which another person says, well, I still carry feelings, which means I can't move forward. We always carry feelings, right? Our feelings don't go away. They don't eradicate in the wake of a new energetic connection. But the identification point of understanding what's healthy allows us to be able to articulate how we feel about something. And I literally see somebody in that liminal space right now, right? I see that energy that feels the energetic pull towards something that is unhealthy and not wanting to effectively start something new because they still feel like that. And this is the thing about it, right? They're never not going to feel like that. That's how trauma is, right? Trauma feels like it's always perpetually calling us to go back, right? But we often feel that space by which we recognize we're healing because we understand what's energetically healthy, and we recognize and identify what feels like supportive love. So I feel like it's very difficult because wherever I see this person, like I see, and this is why, again, if they're really busy, I see somebody trying to keep themselves like, I wouldn't be surprised if this is like some kind of workaholic energy, you know, because I've got a lot of this energy here. And I feel like that's what's difficult. Like I see somebody that's working perpetually, and they're trying, and I keep wondering, they're trying to heal, right? They're trying to get there. It's going to take time. And I feel like it's a lot of that space by which they recognize that it's going to take a while. But I keep on also seeing that, and that's why I'd say like don't rush someone in this space, right? Like the best that you can do is say to somebody, like, state your intentions and say, like, look, this is how I feel. This is what I want with you. Like, this is what I would love to create with you. But like on your, like, like when you're energetically ready is what I keep on seeing. And I keep on hearing, like, the one thing that I would not do, like in relationality to someone in this space, is feeling like, don't feel like you're pushing on them, right? Like don't, like you can give them that assurance and relationality to articulating that you're thinking about them, but don't come into this, like I keep on hearing, like offer but don't push is what I keep on hearing. Animal spirit guide, because a lot of this, like I feel like some of it's terrestrial, like I literally see someone really busy, but some of it is like spiritual is what I keep on getting as well. Bottom of the deck on this reading, yeah, like especially like, look, we've got the 5 of Cups here and the 4 of Cups in its upright. I see somebody, like, I don't know what it is that they're healing from, but it feels like it's changed it's changed their perception on things. They're being really energetically careful. And the hard part is, I'm not, and this is not to say, like, this is not to say that there's anything that you've done, right? Like it says to me, like it's them having to navigate. Like I keep on hearing, like they're navigating some kind of eye-opening relationship. It says, like, it almost feels to me like somebody like working through, um, like somebody working through a lot of heavy hurt that I feel like in some way has also made them feel like very energetically hesitant as it relates to creating new connections. But that's why I keep on getting, like, the best thing that you can do, like I keep on hearing, like, think about nurturing the connection, right? And when we nurture a connection, we don't rush it, right? When we nurture a connection, we articulate what we aspire for, but then we leave it. I keep wondering, we leave it, like we leave it where it is, right? We leave that direction with another, and we build into, right? And it's like we build into the modality of allowing someone to find the energetic confidence in terms to in order to, like I keep on hearing, like in the space by which they themselves are ready to come out of their shell, right? And I feel like there's a lot of that energy here that I'm seeing. Like I literally see somebody that's on a healing journey, and even in the modality by which they're starting to, like, build into relationship again. Like I keep on hearing someone say, like, I hate this, it hurts. But I hear somebody saying, like, they understand that it has to hurt to heal, is what I keep on hearing, right? So I think that that's where I kind of see somebody, like that's where I see you meeting someone on their journey. And I hope that helps. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, dear. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. The list is closed, but if you'd like to get on the list for tomorrow, you'll be the first person read for. You'll also have an additional card in your reading. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as it was reading. Apologies. You'll be the first person read for on Monday. And we're also at 71.8K likes. When we get to 100K, I'll be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen, and we'll get to 50K in no time. You're welcome, dear. They are. Thank you for confirming, Esteban. Hi, spiritual. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I just need the date. You just need to tell me the date. Oh, I see it. You had the reading on Tuesday. Did you want to claim the reading today? The list is closed, but I'll take that reading if you want to claim that reading today. Just let me know. Maria, the list is closed today, but if you want to get on the list for Monday, if you get on the list today, you'll be read for before we start the daily collective on Monday. Okay, or if you become a super fan, I'm doing 1-card readings for super fans as well. And Lek, thank you for the follow. Life is absolutely worthwhile. It is, and I'm sending you so much support if you don't feel like that's the case. I want you to focus on writing down, doing some gratitude journaling right now. Write down the things that make life beautiful. And I'm sending you so much support. Hi there, spiritual. Thank you for also receiving this message. This totally fits me, yes. But I still feel like a failure when I thought I changed. I want you to take this time right now, Maria, and track your progress. Right? Write down how far you've come. Write down where you're going. Right? Don't lose hope right now. Thank you, Esteban. Speechless. Okay, excellent, spiritual. I got you. Victoria, you're so welcome, dear. Oh, yeah, don't listen. Listen, the reason I do this is not required to have a reading. If being here helps, then that is gift enough. But I always look forward to the time when you're ready to have that reading with me as well. Alexandra, funny that I asked how to temper impatience earlier, and then my read brought it up. Oh, I know, like literally, like you see, like that. I didn't realize that. There you go. But it's saying to me, it's coming through a guide, right? Like the guide saying, like that's how. It's like paying attention. It's like I feel like there's something about pattern recognition happening there. Yep, I will definitely. I wrote down a note on it. I'm definitely gonna take it into consideration, dear. It's probably gonna be helpful when we're going through these sword cards. All right, so spiritual, I'm adding you back to the list. The list is closed today. But if you want to get on the list for Monday, you'll be the first person read for. You'll also have an additional card in your reading. Spiritual, could you let me know if we're doing a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer? I keep on hearing they want you to like work on your timeline. Like I keep on hearing like write down your timeline in terms of going like ending and starting things. Got you, dear. All right, and before we continue, we're going to warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10, and when we get to 1, I'll reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Frog! Where's Nikki when you need her? All right, we're going to get started. I've already got 3 of your cards out here, dear. We're going to be checking this out. I'm also going to be pinning up spiritual. Guys, make sure to give spiritual some love. You can't believe what somebody said. You can't believe what somebody said that made it clear that they were trying to stop you from doing something. You have to write that down. You can't believe anything someone said when it became clear that they were trying to stop you from doing something. Because you have to understand, and I feel like you know who this is, right? Like the space by which another person puts us down because they're afraid, right? Because of what they're afraid of, right? Nothing that that person said to you was true. The minute you recognize that they didn't want you to do something, you can't take anything that they said at face value. Because the modality by which you, and I keep wondering, your confirmation on that was in the space by which they admitted to you that they were afraid of you doing something, right? Because fear's got hands. And what will fear do, right? Like fear will say to somebody, oh, you better make them feel bad about themselves. Because if you make them feel bad about themselves, they won't try anything, right? Like the energy that tries to convince us that we are incapable because another person is afraid of us recognizing our own capacity. Like that's some of the hardest trauma to heal from because it's often the energy, like, and I keep on pointing this out, like the energy that often articulates and says you'll never amount to anything is energy trying to enforce the fact of saying, I'm afraid of you leaving, right? I keep on hearing you have to draw a straight line. You have to draw an absolute straight line to somebody articulating and saying in some way, shape, or form or fashion, you'll never amount to anything, was them saying, I am terrified. I am absolutely terrified of you leaving. I am absolutely terrified. I'm riveted in the spot. I don't believe that, but I'm going to say anything to keep you from energetically trying, is what I keep on seeing. And it's not fair. It's not fair. Nobody should go through that. But it happens. And often the energy that does it doesn't even recognize that they're doing it, right? The space by which, like the space by which another person articulates their fear is often the space by which they try to incapacitate us by telling us that we are energetically worthless, is what I keep on getting. Recognize that, I keep on hearing that was their fear, right? That was a fear. That was their fear of how capable you were, right? That was the fear. Like that wasn't, that was, and the way you'll know this is because I feel like you had a conversation with this person and they effectively told you that they were afraid of you going, right? Energy afraid of us going will try to make us afraid of leaving. Energy afraid of us going will try to make us afraid of leaving. And it's not fair. It's absolutely not fair. You've got somebody in spirit that articulates that it's an ugly thing to do to another person. But the sooner, I keep hearing, the sooner that you recognize that, right? The sooner that you realize that was, and I know how hard it is, like that was the love, like, and I know that there's love there, like that was their love transmogrified, right? That was that ugly space of love that was turning into the space by which they were trying to articulate how scared you should be, right? That was a reflection of how scared they faced it every single day, right? That's the hard part about it. It doesn't even feel to me like it wasn't, like it wasn't the space by which they themselves, like this is saying to me, like this is you healing, and this is how you're going to heal from someone like that. This is how you heal from someone like that. This is you healing from someone who is absolutely terrified every day of their life. And I know, I keep wondering, I know it's no, it doesn't make it go away. It doesn't make the pain go away. Right? Doesn't make it any easier. Like it doesn't make the pain ease, but recognizing and understanding. Imagine how terrified, right? Imagine how terrified you have to be in the space by which you project that on those around you. I know how painful this is. And I know that you didn't want to put distance between you and this person. You have to, right? It's not your job. It's not your job to heal that fear in them. And the thing is, like, fear's got hands. You know? Fear's got hands. And if we can care about somebody profoundly, but if someone is too deep in their fear, they're not safe to love. I know it's awful. I know it's painful. I know how much it took you to effectively move away from that, because I can see the space of another person trying to articulate that they needed you. And I can almost see the space by which you recognized, right? Like you recognized the fact that underneath all of that pain was someone saying, please don't go. But that's not how we communicate, right? It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable because what we tolerate, we condone. And I keep on getting the message that you moving away from that person was the greatest act of healing you could do, because in the observation of you doing that, as long as you didn't come into the space by which you were reacting or being volatile, but you articulated that those were the circumstances, you were helping them see that they don't need to carry that. And I know it's heavy because often when I see energy like this, it feels like the space by which you are experiencing something that you are all too familiar with. But I think you recognize that this is why it's so painful to break an energetic cycle, right? Because the modality by which we recognize, like the modality by which we recognize what's happening, doesn't make it okay. And I keep on getting, rest assured, if you did that healthy work to walk away, then you were their blessing, right? If you did that healthy work to walk away, you were their blessing because you were reminding them and saying, you have to change this because it's not something that is energetically acceptable. And that was you raising your energetic standard. And that's the beautiful thing. When we raise our standards, we help others see that they can do so as well. Bottom of the deck on this reading. I miss you is not taking accountability, right? Somebody articulating their longing for you, right? Somebody willing to articulate their feelings, half the work, right? Feelings don't heal things, right? And the observation of someone trying to identify and articulate to you, and I wouldn't be surprised if an energy like this tries to articulate in the space of saying, right, how much emotion they have. The emotion is not the problem, right? And often what happens, often somebody who has a hard time navigating their emotions comes into the distortion fact that they feel like the problem is that they just didn't admit that they have feelings, whereas it's more the fact that their feelings, like their feelings are clear, but their reactivity or their volatility, it's like it's not about the communication of the feelings. It's about what we do when we feel an overwhelm of them, right? So potentially having to do that hard work and explaining to someone that communicating feelings does not replace, like communicating feelings does not replace the fact that when one goes through an overwhelm of emotions, one shouldn't be energetically reactive, right? Like it's half the battle, right? Half the battle is recognizing that there's a problem. The other half is being able to take the responsibility of doing the work to change it. So if this is someone who tries to come towards you and say, like, I'm ready to talk about it, it's not, I keep on hearing the only, like, it shouldn't be, it's not requiring, it's the space by which they shouldn't say, I want to talk about it. It's a space by which they say, it's not okay, right? It's not okay. And there's no amount of conversation, there's no explanation that, and this is what happens when somebody realizes that their response, like what they're doing, is intolerable, right? The modality by which we don't say when something is completely intolerable, saying I want to talk about, being like, I need to articulate how wrong I recognize that it is. They need to take accountability for how wrong it is, not be in the space by which they try to tell you that they want to do the healthy thing by talking about it. Because if they're not safe to talk to, right? If somebody goes through an overwhelm point where they're not safe to talk to, somebody's saying, oh, I want to do the healthy thing and talking about it, being like, it's not safe to talk to you, right? It's like, it's not about the communication. If you can't navigate your emotions, the communication, there's no communication in the world that's going to help if you're not safe to talk to. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, dear, and sending you so much support on that journey. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. And thank you for coming back for your reading, dear. Dada, thank you for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. And Stranger, thank you for sharing the live as well. All right, my friends. Thank you, Victoria. Hold on a minute. Happy Saturday. I know exactly who you're talking about, and I can see it's continuing to be devastating, because I feel like it's devastating because they're misunderstanding. It feels like it's not only devastating, but someone like still misunderstanding what was so devastating about it. Yeah, this is a personal, familiar story for me. Sending you support on that too if you connected that as well, Victoria. I know. No, you have nothing to apologize for. And I feel like the guides are showing you that to help you recognize how important that decision was. I got you, dear. No problem. So final call right now for any of my super fans who have not had a 1 card yet. Go ahead and put your question in the comments. And if you'd like to become a super fan, you're also eligible for a 1 card. Just hit the super fan button at the bottom of the screen. I'll be happy to draw a card for you. And if you are a paid member over on the place where we keep the videos, you're also entitled to a 1 card today. 1 card for It's My. When we are in healthy partnership, we're mutually invested in helping heal unhappiness, right? Not being afraid to talk about it, but making sure that we have healthy directions attached to it, right? Yeah, it's good to talk about it because it allows the space by which we don't feel like we're just navigating something, right? Working through, like allowing another person to collaborate with you in terms of what could make something better. Animal spirit guide. Yeah, better not bitter. Blank card. Better not bitter. Minnie, highest priority for Minnie, please. We got the King of Cups here. So I feel like this is you finally being in harmony with someone that's willing, like that's doing the emotional work with you. And I feel like, again, often what happens when we're finally in a healthy space, like, yeah, prepare for a lot of trauma to come up to the surface. Potentially you and another person not recognizing how heavy the burden you've been carrying is. Animal spirit guide. Yeah, a lot of strong feelings, right? But not, I keep wondering, like allow, like it's like the body keeps score, better out than in, right? Being able to communicate. Like I see like you saying to another person, like a lot of this I'm coming through, like the feelings we often have because we're finally in a safe space to feel them. 1 card regarding connection for Chrissy, please. Queen of Wands and its reversal. I feel like I see some, like, it almost feels like somebody who feels energetically foolish in some way, right? Like somebody looking at someone being like, I can't believe, like, I can't believe I let another person distort another person's good intentions, is what I keep on seeing, right? Like it's giving me a lot of that type of energy, especially with the 3 of Swords, you know? Like it's saying, like, this is what I keep on seeing, like the space by which I keep wondering, there's no small act of belittling, right? You know, like it starts, I keep on hearing, like, this is what we understand with like bullying energy, right? Bullying, you don't have to be present. This is what's interesting. I feel like someone's learning that you don't have to be present to be bullied, right? The modality by which another person like picks on someone in a small way that's precious to another and then continues to do so to see how far they can get away, right? But what they're really doing is like they're creating the energetic distortion in another space by which like I keep on hearing and then recognizing, and this is usually I can tell the modality by which you try to say something about someone they care about and they say don't, right? Like the distortion, like the point by which you recognize, like the space by which you recognize that something doesn't go both ways is often how you recognize a bully energy, right? Bottom of the deck, yeah, especially with that 3 of Swords. Sending you, so yep, good to see you, dear. Hi there, Megan, how you doing? I appreciate you too, dear. And hi, thank you for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. Trishina, 1 card, direction. Oh, with housemate. I feel like you need to have a conversation in terms of what an ideal environment is, right? Like saying to somebody, what is your ideal in terms of a harmonic home life is what I keep on seeing. Because I feel like in one way, like I see you much more in a space of solitude and I see them like wanting to open their doors in some way. So I feel like it has to be a conversation on boundary issues in terms of the comfortability, in terms of like who, how of it, like who else is coming here is what I keep on hearing, you know? Yeah, especially with the Ren, right? Like working into, I keep wondering when we are to, like, we are energetically conscientious in asking others if they're comfortable having company. I keep wondering that's courtesy. Courtesy is asking if another person is comfortable having company. That's not too much to ask. That's an energetic standard. And the ability to articulate upon, I keep on hearing, I don't know if this is related to company, but the ability of saying to another person, like, let's try to set some ground rules, is it's not exceptional if it's something that feels like it's reciprocal, right? Thank you, dear. And thank you, Dada, for sharing the live. Final call right now for anyone who is a subscriber who has not had a card pulled, or anyone who's a paid member over on the place where we keep the videos. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages. We'll be off tomorrow, but we'll be returning back live at our usual time, 7:15 a.m. Hi there, Nikki. Happy to draw a card for you. What are we reading for? Just let me know. One card, highest priority, please. How can I support you right now? Right? Like we hold, like I keep on saying, like the space by which we communicate to another and say, I'm here for anything you need. I'm also here if you need space, right? Like the modality by which we say, like, I'm here to receive. I keep on hearing, when we care about each other, we basically say, I'm here to receive, but I'm also here to recede, right? Is what I keep on hearing. Like that's how we show our love, which is not the space by which we say it's good to talk about, but we say, what do you need right now? I'm here to receive, but I'm also here to recede. Yeah, exactly. Right? Being able to identify and recognize and attenuate by being able to say, what is it that you need right now? Animal spirit guide, especially with the blackbird, right? Help me. It's saying, like, when we care about each other, we say, like, let me, I keep hearing you say, like you saying another person, like, tell me what love would feel like to you at this moment. I don't know why that feels important, right? Tell me what love would feel like to you at this moment. The modality, but I feel like I keep on hearing that. What would love feel like at this moment, right? It's often the space by which we help. I don't know why I keep on hearing that. Like something about saying that to help you and another person heal when you're working through a lot of feelings and you're not necessarily sure what to do, is what I keep on hearing, right? Thank you so much for having that reading with me. As I mentioned, friends, I will be offline tomorrow, but I'll be back on Monday at 7:15 a.m. PST, 10:15 a.m. Eastern. If you would like to get on the list and be read for before we start the daily collective, if you get on today or before I go live, you'll have first priority in being read for. If you became a super fan today, welcome. I would encourage you to head over to our super fan only disco channel. Introduce yourself to the collective. You'll also find in the disco channel a unique coupon code that will allow you to have a discount on our Tarot Church class subscription program. Our next class is Wednesday, February 18th. Message me a disco GIF if you're interested in an invite code to get into the disco, if you're a super fan. And again, same if you are joining us on the place where we keep the videos. If you are not a super fan who would like a unique coupon code for those classes, you can message me the word class. And if you'd like to be able to remember today's the last day to sign up for pre-register for our trip and get that $200 discount, message me the word trip. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages. Huge thank you to my followers, old and new. Thank you for being here and receiving these messages. Huge thank you to my subscribers. Your ongoing support means the absolute world to me. And the biggest thank you to my mods. I hope you guys have an absolutely beautiful day. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of one another. And we'll do this again on Monday. Have a great day, everyone.